absenteeism and decrease learning opportunities for our already most vulnerable students. I urge you to prioritize student and family safety by ensuring ICE activity does not disrupt morning or evening school commutes. I also ask that you coordinate with all public schools and families, both ISD and charter, to share timely information about immigration enforcement so staff can respond accordingly. I call on you, please make sure ICE upholds federal law, safeguarding every student's right to a free public education regardless of immigration status.
And then we'll go to Anthony Lucio, and then Kayla Moranta.
Good afternoon, Mayor Jones, council members. My name is Mayra Alejandra Carrier, and I'm here to be representing my immigrant communities, my students, and my San Antonio community members who wanted to be here but could not. I'm a proud first-generation Mexican-American and the daughter of a single Mexican mother who raised her life in search of the American dream for her daughters. As a child, I carried responsibilities no child should have to carry. I translated for my mother at medical appointments, advocated for her and myself in police matters, and navigated systems that were never built for families like mine, while also helping raise my little sister. Our children are already carrying enough. And now many of them sit in classrooms terrified, wondering if their parents will still be here when they get home. I'm also a United States Army veteran. For 10 years I wore a uniform. I served this country. And like many veterans, I lost friends, not only during wartime, but also coming home. Friends lost to mental health, struggles to suicide, after fighting for the freedoms that we are discussing today. Woo! So when I see women and men, people who fought for who look like my family, being abducted in the streets of San Antonio, or worse, like what we witnessed in Minnesota, I have to ask, are we next here in San Antonio? Mayor Jones, I speak to you directly because you are also a veteran. You know and understand what service is. You understand sacrifice. You understand what it means to protect people. And not just with words like others, but by action. Please protect our families, protect our children, protect your districts, and lean on each other to take care of us as a whole. And to the community listening today, if you grew up like me, you know this fear. You know what it feels like to be a child translating adult pain. You know the anxiety of systems that see you as a problem instead of a person. So I'm here today because many families in San Antonio don't have this privilege of feeling safe. They are already being targeted, watched, questioned, and feared. Their children carry anxiety into classrooms. Their parents leave home unsure they'll return, and no amount of doing everything right to protect them from that fear. Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thanks for your time. My name is Anthony Lucio. Been a resident for about 6 years here, and I understand that the police department working along immigration enforcement is not a new thing. They do, especially when it comes in criminal investigations. What is new, the tactics being put in place and the pressure that's being put across the members of our community. Instead of going after these criminals, they opt to go into hospitals, restaurants, construction sites, grocery stores, doctor's office, looking for kidnappings of opportunity, and they target and detain anybody they seem suspect with no probable cause, and the only determining factor is that anyone that they do not deem that deserves to be here. And this is why, it's such an important thing. And if it really was about immigration, if it really was about, catching the criminals, then why are they going to these immigration courthouses where people who seek asylum, who are fleeing war-torn countries, who are fleeing for better opportunities in this country, have ICE cuffs in hand waiting outside these courthouses? Why are they not going to see every just this week, an immigration judge was fired because she refused to comply and bend the law to this administration, and she wanted to follow the law and was replaced with somebody who will bend that law. In fact, when Senator Murphy was there just this week, he spoke to one of the ICE officers like, "Oh, you're going after criminals." Well, all they say is that they are prioritizing everyone. It doesn't matter. And all I have to say what is the reason for all this? Why is ICE going after everybody? Well, it comes to find out, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, that they have a quota of 3,000 arrests, and these don't mean detainees, these are just people that they can release. And you couple that with a for-profit prison systems that are forcing
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you for your time.
Followed by Alicia Perez and then Tariq El-Moudi.
Yes, ma'am, it's just a question about, I wonder if you have a contingency, since we are so close to Mexico, for these, when unarmed agents are taking people, but what about when the criminals start taking our kids? I have a 16-year-old daughter who walks home from school. What is the contingency when unmasked people start taking our kids across the border? We don't know. We don't know who's taking people. And we are totally against people being masked taking our people. We are concerned. We are close to Mexico. We are concerned that our children are going to be taken, and not to a concentration camp in the U.S. Once you're taken across the border, just to get across the border, you don't need anything. You don't need anything. You don't need ID. You just take a car and go. So we are all concerned citizens, and for sure, we're not okay with it.
Good afternoon, thank you for having us here. My name is Alicia, or Ali Perez. I'm a mother, I'm a San Antonian, I'm raising my 4 kids here. I'm also an immigration attorney. I've had people taken from my arms outside of their lawful court proceedings and detained by ICE and then forced into deportation. I also helped co-found SA Stands, because we all know that when we work together, these organizations are There's a lot of pain here today, and thank you for receiving that, but I think there's also a lot of love and a lot of hope. And I think that's going to be the answer here. I want to recognize the hard work of our law enforcement. I hear SAPD in the city when you say that you're not enforcing federal laws, but the concern here is not your intent or the practical thing that you're doing, it's the effect. Every arrest is the first step of federal ICE enforcement chain. Arrest leads to ICE contact at the jail. ICE contact leads to detention. Detention leads to the deportation. And as the community has stated over and over today, these deportations are now being lawfully done. And I know that because they've tried to take people from me who've already wanted cases. I've had to go to federal court and we get them back. So let's not get lost in semantics. Arrests and the local policies that predictably feed that system, they do carry federal immigration consequences. We are part of the chain. So right now, people in San Antonio, as my community said,
I have to do a security scan.
This is especially scary for domestic violence victims who are already paid to call. Fear suppresses reporting. Fear makes victims and witnesses disappear. Fear makes our community less safe. But I believe we can comply with the law and still be thoughtful about how our local practices affect safety. We can use discretion. We can emphasize in our policies and habits best practices.
You can submit the rest of your comments for the record. Thank you.
A lot of feeling is for our safety, so let's meet the minimum and build something better with our community. Thank you.
Tariq El-Moudi, Father Aguilar, and then Tori Salas and Virginia Quinn.
Good afternoon. My family has lived in these lands, which we call Islam, for 12,000 years. So we did not cross the border crossed us. Elders told me a story that I now learned is called Mexican repatriation. Happened in the 1930s, so anyone who looked Mexican were deported back to Mexico, whether it was citizens.
Was that Polk?
History repeats itself, and I think we're there now in many respects. In November 1989, I attended the 50th anniversary of Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht happened in November 1939 in Germany, Austria, and Czechoslovakia, where the government ordered the synagogues, buildings, stores, homes of Jewish persons be ransacked. That was the ominous beginning of the Holocaust. It was all legal, all ordered by the government. A parishioner who was with me at the time said, maybe we're living that time again. And even though it was almost 40 years ago, we need to ask ourselves a question. Whose side do you choose? Do you choose the Führer or freedom? A dictator or dignity? Partisan politics or democracy of a nation? ICE raids or community safety? Government terrorism or the truth of the people? Capricious law, chaotic disorder, or life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? My hope is that you choose for the people of San Antonio. How can you trust a distrustful, marauding militia? I hope you would choose that. Thank you.
Virginia Quinn, followed by Alejandro Herrera. Virginia Quinn, Alejandro Herrera, followed by Quinn Nook and Alastor Myth. Please line up. You are. You've got 2 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Alejandro Herrera. I'm a brother, a son, and an uncle. I'm a UTSA graduate and an engineer, but most importantly, I'm your neighbor, and like it or not, you are mine. This message is not only to City Council, it's to anyone who can frankly pull their head out of their ass. American citizens are being shot and assaulted in our streets. And so many of you are stuck in a fallacy, a cognitive dissonance, the mental conflict that occurs when beliefs or assumptions are contradicted by new information, tending this unease by rejecting, explaining away, or just avoiding information. Our community is scared, and you are scared. It's visible. It's visible in everyone's faces. But it's time to face reality. Daily, I see my neighbors grasping onto any semblance of a rules-based order, but it's gone. This administration, and at the hands of Donald, Bob, Miller, Peter Thiel, and the Heritage Foundation are fulfilling a plan of fascism, whether we like it or not. Good news is that we can work with our fear, not against it. This administration is not following court orders. They have acted with impunity, forging wars on sovereign states and its own citizens. Their intent is to agitate citizens and oppress them into fighting back for a pretext to a de facto martial law, and it's here. They're dragging people, breaking windows, dragging people out of their cars, arresting teenagers, twisting their ankles, stealing their belongings, brutally accosting them, and I'll jump forward because I know my time is limited. The message is clear. It's your responsibility to follow other cities and councils in this country and enact a ban on law enforcement officials wearing masks to conceal their identity. Not only so, but banning using city resources to support ICE agents, and on the other hand, using resources to protect the people who are actually standing up. Thank you for your time.
Quinn Nook, followed by Alastor Myth, and then Terry Kerr.
Hello. Oh, yes. So I want to start us off by something that really bugged me whenever I first started coming here. Was the two in recesses that you guys took. It just felt so disrespectful to be in a house, our house, and you'll get offended by what we say and what we do. That is not how this works. Yeah. It's not. So hard to get paid to listen to people and not do it. And speaking of y'all, you're not just running the us. It doesn't matter what y'all, it doesn't matter what y'all think is best for us or what y'all think would work. It matters what we think would work and what we want, and we do not want ICE. ICE is not professional, ICE does not deserve respect. ICE is just filled with racist studies. Lots of individual journalists has applied to ICE, and it only took us like 6 minutes to get a job. And on their first day, some of them have got a gun. Does that sound professional to you? Does that sound like somebody who deserves respect? We should not respect people who shoot people. We should not respect people who kidnap people. We should not respect people who threaten our neighbors and our friends. That is not a professional organization. That does not deserve to be anywhere in the city. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I want to take a moment to thank everyone, all but one person who has spoken before me. We all represent the best quality of our humanity, our love, our community, and our sense of growth and wanting to better ourselves. I represent all of the words. In short, ICE does not belong in San Antonio, and it should not be owed the cooperation or assistance of this community. I don't need to go into the definition of fascism and all the ways that ICE is mimicking the German SS, because it is self-evident that any person with eyes who values truth love hate. ICE prove time and again, they exist for malice alone and operate outside of the law without warrants, due process, evidence, accountability, or transparency. If they insist to work without due diligence in the process of the judicial system, then to stay consistent, they should learn to work without the support or protection of the local law enforcement. The only cooperation that we should be talking about today is our officials and SAPD working with the community, not modern-day Nazis. Funded poison for our diverse community. They represent only rot and decay of our society. This is not for law and order. This is not to catch criminals. They have attempted to put citizens without due process or legal representation before new laws. They have shot and harassed unarmed citizens. They use legal immigration documents to track and trap legal immigrants. The point is to oppress and erase members of our community. A clear sign of fascism, which we know for certain is an absolute evil which cannot and should not be compromised in any way, shape, or form. We should not be speaking about compromising with or improving ICE operations. We should be strengthening our efforts to make this a sanctuary city, protecting our community members, whether they were born here or moved here. And we should be encouraging public and private entities to turn ICE away at the door. To reiterate, there is no space for ICE in this or any other community.
I spoke last time, not today. I didn't make it on time to find out.
Luis.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and neighbor. I immigrated to the United States over 50 years ago. I've been a resident of San Antonio for 43 years. I'm also a person of color. I'm white. I came from Ireland, and in Ireland they used to say, people are full of the blarney. I had to write that down because after listening to many of my neighbors, I don't think I've heard that much blarney since. Here's what I heard today. And some of the people made a lot of excellent points. But Nazis, fascists, genocide, domestic terrorists. I think there's a lot of hyperbole today. And I think people should go back and consider this. On a serious note,
Quiet in the chamber, please.
That's the point.
On a serious note, the tragedy that happened in Minneapolis, I believe that the authorities there had taken the same position that the San Antonio Police Department has with federal authorities and control the traffic. Perhaps that tragedy would have been avoided. I want to also point out that in the last year, according to some of the news reports that I've read, there were people from the Venezuelan gang, Tren arrested. And then last week, Sheriff Salazar mentioned that they arrested 3 illegal immigrants.
No one's illegal.
They were in a car theft ring that stole SUVs that were being used for human trafficking.
Show us your papers!
They had been linked to the cartel and were involved in human trafficking and had been deported previous times.
Sir, your time is up. You can submit the rest of your comments for the record. Priscilla Olivares, followed by Imola Ruiz,
Personal
followed by Ray
comments.
Boyan.
Let's see what you did there, sir.
I'm a senior policy attorney with the Immigrant Legal Resource Center and a member of SA Stands. I'm also an immigration attorney, and I've witnessed how ICE has torn families apart, detaining and deporting families. I'm here to ask for transparency and accountability for SAPD's role in the November raid, and for transparency anytime SAPD collaborates with ICE. The November raid occurred 3 months ago, and there are still so many unanswered questions. I stand alongside community calling for transparency. We want to know why nearly 50 SAPD officers provided, quote, perimeter security for the raid. How and who determined 50 officers should be dedicated to the raid, which violated the rights of so many? How much did providing 50 SAPD officers cost taxpayers? The federal government has plenty of money. The administration passed HR 1 last summer, giving them $170 billion more to harm our communities. SBA deputized many law enforcement, including Texas DPS, to act as ICE agents. Why then is SAPD dedicating so many resources in these operations? SAPD says it only provided perimeter support, but any support in violating our rights is wrong. And the ICE memo leaked yesterday states ICE now believes they have the right to enter homes without a warrant. This is shocking and unconstitutional. Will SAPD provides logistical support or perimeter support when ICE enters our homes without warrants in clear violation of the Fourth Amendment? I was also shocked to hear SAPD chiefs say they are calling ICE if they see an administrative warrant in their database. Let's be clear, an administrative warrant is not a real warrant, and nothing in SB 4 2017 requires compliance. Prohibits SAPD or any law enforcement from prolonging detention, even briefly, of an individual after the legal authority has stopped. So I really encourage City Council to really understand what SAPD is saying when they're saying they're going to violate the law by calling ICE for those warrants.
Excuse me? And then Ray Boyan, and then Regina Guevara. Go ahead.
Good evening, council members. Mayor Jones of the City of San Antonio. Over the past few weeks, we have had it's called a unique situation arise. Make no mistake, ICE is coming to San Antonio. The question today is not whether to bar ICE from entering San Antonio, it is whether we allow SAPD to assist ICE and DHS agents in deporting the residents of San Antonio. My answer, simply put, is no. ICE training is insufficient compared to SAPD training. SAPD Academy requires 1,300 hours to complete the academy and obtain your peace officer license. This high standard allows San Antonians to trust in the officer's ability to make rational decisions, uphold the law, and put the needs of the community before any personal beliefs. 1,300 hours is a long time, roughly 7 to 8 months. That's more than our armed forces do at basic, that's more than a Navy SEAL goes through, and it's most certainly a lot more training than the new batch of ICE agents have, of which there are many. According to Homeland Security, 10,000 new ICE officers have been sworn in under new guidelines that allow them to complete their training in 6 to 8 weeks. Over the past few weeks, we've seen the result of this training, the violence and blatant carelessness with which ICE has operated in cities like Chicago, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, and so many others have now come to our city. Untrained officers claiming that they alone have unlimited authority to terrorize people in their homes, in public, at their work, in their cars. SAPD should supervise ICE with the goal of ensuring the safety of citizens and protecting constitutional rights. Just this year alone, ICE deaths, not casualties, deaths, have jumped up to 32, the highest in 20 years.
Submit the rest of your comments for the record. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Followed by Regina Romano. And then Angela Pardo.
Mayor and Council, my name is Regina Guevara, and I'm a District 1 resident, and I've served my community as a community health worker since 2008. At various points during that time, I've served in domestic civil service here for 6 terms. I share this as a reflection of my commitment to my country. My former last name is Mascaro. In 2012, 2 of my children were killed in South Park County in a police chase gone wrong, and still today I respect Manus, SAP, Sheriff Salazar, and our entire Grand County Sheriffs. I want to tell you about one of my clients, a Honduran boy who at the age of 11 walked most of the way with his father from their home in Honduras to the Laredo border. He became my client in August of 2020. At that time, he was not attending school because his father was afraid of the system. As his assigned CHW, I was trusted to step in. Franklin came into my care so I could enroll him in the school and advocate for him. I watched him learn English, make friends, and become a standout soccer player, Great Hearts Monte Vista, MVP 2 years in a row. And he began to believe in his future. In June of 2023, I received the greatest promotion of my life. I became his mom. By the start of the 2024 school year, Franklin was thriving and preparing to enter the Bear County Sheriff's Explorer Academy. His dream today is still to be a police officer and join our military. On August 12, 2024, Franklin was asked to leave our country. Because we did not want to break the law, we did everything we were asked to do. Franklin and my family returned to Honduras September 19, 2024. Today, my reality looks very different than what many imagined. I continue to serve my clients as a community health worker while traveling between Honduras and San Antonio. 3 of my US-born children who are citizens by birth are living outside the country with Franklin and
I'm at the City Hall downtown. This is a meeting about ICE.
And that is not the reality for most of my families. There's a misconception that people can simply return.
It got crazy earlier. I'm gonna post some videos later. I get the feeling it's gonna get crazy again when everyone leaves.
I understand our nation of laws and laws must be followed. Compliance over surrounding families and torn apart, but people must live in fear. I ask my city to take an active role ensuring the safety and dignity of every person who calls San Antonio home. I just cannot come into our city with no regard for sanctity of life. The future of our families is in your hands. Thank you.
Angela Pardo, Stephanie Esparza.
Members of the County of the City Council of San Antonio, today is not a day we need lightly on. While one of our esteemed state representatives sleeps for warm weather, we need to discuss the bone-chilling topic of ice. Not the ice that spreads along the city streets, that causes vehicles and pedestrians to slip and fall, but the kind that enters suddenly and violently into our neighborhoods, stealing women and children and being a threat to us. Despite this time of uncertainty, our voice has been strong to call for justice to be met. That is why I would ask that the SAPD do not assist ICE. Let the SAPD be a warning light in this time of storm. The members of the SAPD are members of our community who experienced the previous winter storm in 2021. With their help, we can respond more effectively when the cold streets hit and the power grid falters once more. The good people of San Antonio are honest and heart-worthy people, full of passion, joy, and love. These are things in short supply these days, but they don't have to be. It is my hope that not only the City Council, but everyone here today will join in keeping an eye out for the well-being of our neighbors. Those who see this message, open up, share a cup of hot chocolate. Give your neighbors a blanket of their home. We must do what we can to ensure this dry and dangerous zone. It's a hard time for all of us, but it is my belief
There it is.
that together we can bring back freedom and safety
That'll do.
to our city.
Angela Pardo. Calling Stephanie Esparza. Stephanie Esparza. Kathy Stein. Kathy Stein.
Yes.
Emily Morales and Nicholas Baker will follow Kathy.
So much for having been very nervous. Good afternoon. I forgot my speech at home, so I'm writing some notes, and please bear with me. Good afternoon, Mayor Chairman, City Council, and fellow citizens. I am Kathy Stein, and speaking for myself. I know that we have all seen what's going on in Minneapolis, and the property damage.
Thank you, Dooley. Thank you, Kliski.
Homes to vehicles and to people.
I had to run a security scan. It took a minute. I didn't think it was going to take that long.
I've also seen the
Or it took 5
disruption
minutes.
to businesses, to traffic, to police operations, to deal with all of this mess that has been created. And I know you have too, so I won't waste your time talking about that. But I do have a possible solution, sort of, that I would like you to consider. Not now, but when we get the surge that we know we're going to get, that's similar to what Minneapolis is experiencing with 40,000 ICE agents descending upon the city. What if we closed it? What if we simply close the businesses, close the schools, and let them serve the warrants that they have without any interference, without any
Interesting.
Threats, without any delays. Could we do that for a day or two?
Did you hear what she said?
And let them do whatever legitimate business they have, so that none of those things happen here? If we close down, please for a second, if we close down, we would have to put a plan in place so people were prepared, and also possibly have some makeup days like we do with schools when schools close early. So that businesses would be open, that would not only be open on Saturday, to make up that time, and to talk to anybody who may seek to.
Thank you, ma'am. Emily Morales, Nicholas Baker.
I think she knows that we are going to cooperate with ICE, so she's trying to meet halfway.
Nicholas Baker. Chris Weldy and Hernando Arce.
Good afternoon, Eco Baker District 1. Across the plaza here on
It's in San
building
Antonio,
on Rosa
Texas.
Street, on the north wall, there's a plaque. It says, "Here stood the early courthouse, city council room, etc., and where occurred the Indian massacre in 1840. On March 19th of that year, 35 unarmed men and women, Comanches, were murdered in the city council meeting room, the plaza, all the way down Del Rosa Street, here, in this place. Racial violence is central to Texas history. You could say it's the whole point. Why did we need Texas Rangers? To make room for white Anglo settlers. Let the city council take note. It is the Anglo who is the immigrant to Texas. It is important I say this because the truth is that the activities of ICE and SAPD with regards to immigration are not unprecedented. The unprecedented thing to do would be to hold these lawful thugs accountable and bring them to justice. We ask the city council to adopt positions, policies, and ordinances that are hostile to ICE and beneficial to our community. We are asking this city council to break the cycle of racial violence in Texas. When we talk about ICE, we're talking about an organization younger than me, denying access to attorneys to their clients, where new hires are not required to sign affidavits swearing they have not been convicted of a domestic violence or sex crime, as reported by Laura Jadid, who has allowed the death of over 30 people in holding cells. We're talking about an organization that issues unlawful internal memos and warrantless entry of private property. We're talking about a group who the Supreme Court has ruled can stop people based on the color of their skin, the language that they speak, the accent they speak with. The last thing I'm going to say, my wife and I be here, a student in Natalia High School was detained. San Antonio Express News has an article, it's called Trapped by ICE. The name of the journalist, Nancy Perry Johnson. Javier Linares, he never missed a day of school until he was kidnapped by ICE. He loved bikes and always wanted to try Dave's Hot Chicken. He's the kind of student leaders always hope they get to teach.
Followed by Armando Arce and Laura Molina.
Good afternoon, Mayor Jones and members of the San Antonio City Council. My name is Dr. Christine Welby. I'm a resident of Line. I came from a 3-generation military family and recently retired after 41 years as a Department County civil servant dedicated to supporting military families and military children. After living 3 decades in Europe, I chose to make San Antonio my home. I chose this city because San Antonio is Military City, USA, a city that understands service, sacrifice, and duty. It's also a rich, vibrant, culturally diverse city.
A lot of people left. They've been calling names and no one's going up, so a lot of people are leaving.
San Antonio, our culture, our neighborhoods, and our economy. Because of my background, I believe deeply in law and order. I respect the rule of law. I strongly support the men and women who dedicate their lives as law enforcement.
Yeah, but I think the next one, we really need to be ready. It got crazy today.
We trust our law enforcement institutions to act lawfully and protect the public, but these are not normal.
Like, I'm coming with like 2 phones, 10 batteries.
We are seeing ICE engage in actions that raise serious constitutional concerns, including wrongful detentions, excessive force, and tactics that spreads fear across our communities, including incidents involving excessive force.
What was the count? Did they say like 150 plus? I thought that's what I heard. I can't remember.
These concerns are not partisan. They are concerns for all residents of San Antonio.
Oh, 200. Yeah, the line was wrapped around the building.
San Antonio must not be complicit in unlawful federal actions. SB 4 does not require the San Antonio Police Department to enter into voluntary cooperation agreements with ICE, nor does it require the city to go beyond what the law demands. I'm asking this council to refuse cooperation with ICE beyond what is legally required, demand transparency and interactions with ICE, and to use every legal avenue available to protect the constitutional rights and community trust. Thank you.
The agitator. Is he really? Oh my god, he's gonna speak. He's gonna fucking speak. Oh my god. We got an ICE agitator. Yes, they left again. ICE agitator.
Get him out! He doesn't want to be here! He was escorted out of his chair! I don't think I get back here! Get this fucker out of here! Our citizens do not have their courtroom! The people protect the people! We hold the power! And that's how it goes!
The ICE agitator came back and he was gonna speak. You see the ICE sign up there? That's a cop over there, the little cop that was saying thank you for your service to ICE agent, the little one over there. And these guys are for ICE right here. These old people here are for ICE. If anyone wants to screen record, you're more than welcome to screen record. And he's still here.
I was nervous. I didn't really see message clear, Did you hear me yelling at him earlier? I popped off.
Yes, please. We need everybody. I can't believe he's still here. Oh God.
Show your face, coward! You at the side! Show your face, coward! What are you doing?
One of the older guys around here. I'm pretty sure we were like having
He's a wanted sex offender right here. That's it. It's the epitome of it right here.
Tell him to fit. How does it feel to treat them back to your own people? He does not like people. But they are! And they are! Because they are! Look at the color of your skin! Look at the color of your skin!
What was a legal citizen? He got deported in the 30s. They don't give a fuck.
They don't care about your legality, Nazi! You're a fucking Nazi!
You're helping Nazis. You're supporting Nazis. They're going to fucking kill you.
Just take your mask off. You love ICE so much, show us who you are. Show ICE who you are so they don't support you.
No, they don't care because they walked out. That's why we're yelling. They walked out on us. We're not gonna let ICE speak. That's who wants to speak right now. We're not gonna let them speak. Excuse me. Excuse me.
He's trying to commit a crime. That's right. That's what like shit. Like I know we got glasses that had a mask. I was so upset that I got to go like. Everything kept flying on here. Someone's like, just give him not a like, let it give him
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Gigantic.
Don't look him up. You just stand
The lady's name and the flannel.
Use the place that you stood there and lost.
I'm gonna review the videos afterwards and get the names of all the speakers and try to find them because we need each other right now. And if anything, I'm really proud that this is occurring because I was losing hope. We'll always have opportunities to speak again. We're just not gonna let them speak.
And then there was he has the fake press badge. And then
It is scary to speak. We don't know his name. I don't think we know his name. Do we know who the guy is? The guy with the hat? Do we know his name? No.
The guy with the iPhone? He's gonna have to say his name when he goes up there. So.
Did she say his name at all? Maybe I got it recorded.
Sure
she did? Okay.
He's not trying to be anonymous though. He's trying to get attention.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't be scared of him though. But if you feel scared,
no.
you can hang around us, alright?
Oh no, I'm not scared at all. No, my streamers love her. They want her name. Jillian?
Tilly. She
Tilly.
actually has an Instagram
Tilly.
and TikTok.
Okay, okay.
So if you want, I can get that for you.
Thank you, thank you.
Excuse me. Very much
The agitator, Ice, over there with that black hat. Let him talk and go. What? They're gonna let him talk? What the fuck are you talking for? This guy with Ice, this guy over here with the hat and the purse, he wants to talk. He's with Ice. His hat says Ice, and this masked person with the sign over there, I have a video where I confronted her earlier. She's with Ice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A few police. Oh, there's that short cop that was thinking Ice. Oh, no, you're fine. What's your Grinder account?
I don't know if they're going to
Is he going to speak from there? What's happening? Yes, ICE has been terrorizing Houston first, and now they're in, then Dallas, now they're doing it quietly. Y'all can't see it because Abbott runs this, Abbott and Trump are besties. Is this an inclusive church? No, we're not at church. We're at City Hall. Yeah, we are against it. There's like there's like just a handful of agitators. Just like 200 people were here earlier.
Where's an outlet? I love your shirt, by the way.
You voted for mass deportations? Okay. Well, you're next, bitch. I don't know why they think they're fucking safe.
Excuse me, guys, I'm trying to squeeze by.
Paid protesters? How the fuck? Y'all need to come up with a better line, for real.
I'll like this guy. I'll like to go forward. Just have a nice one.
Nice agents don't even have to fucking identify.
Should still be credit with first.
Oh, not like people
Who's going to jail? Let me go find my people.
It's faggoty.
And in the worst
I can say that.
Yeah, you're right. And in the not here, but
Hi.
Hello. As I said, civil activist, but also I know musician that
Please take your seats.
Katie Lou, is Brian being funny, or what's going on? Because I need to block him if so.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Aaron Dorsey. I'm an independent reporter here in San Antonio, Texas. I wouldn't have to be here if the Biden administration did not have millions and millions of meetings that in order to understand what we're facing today, we have to go back 25 years during the Ron Nuremberg administration here. When we opened up the Migrant Resource Center, as I finally call it, the American Replacement Center on San Pedro Avenue, where over 1 million illegal aliens came into our country, into our state, into our city of San Antonio, including the Gallo base. Ironically, that immigration migrant center was sold right before the invasion. It was sold.
Is the invasion in the room with us?
To one of the mayor's biggest donor, Gray Street Partners, who owns a lot of property around the Pearl Brewery. They bought that building we had for these migrants.
Did we catch his name?
And rented to the city of San Antonio
I'm gonna play back everything anyway.
Yeah. And over 1 million of these illegals came in through that center. I was there every day.
Illegal.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
So, also, I was able to expose the secret hangar that was behind the airport.
Exposed.
300 illegal aliens were staying as overflow. I filmed that, and for filming that in public property, I was given a trespassing warning, and then 2 weeks later, I was arrested at the San Antonio airport at 3 o'clock in the morning. For illegal aliens coming off 3 coach buses.
Fuck around, find out.
And actually, I was arrested that night by SAPD airport police. The case was dismissed for lack of evidence in that city, and we settled out of court. But I'm going to the picture here just to show you now that we've come back full circle. Now that we have all
Thank you, Katie.
that came in here unvetted, and I know the system very well. I know what an NTA is. I know
ICE agents are unvetted.
I know what temporary protection status is. So when you see all these people getting arrested,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You have 5 seconds.
You don't got much to say.
Your time is complete.
Cake screaming is not recorded, dumbass. Look up Ernst Road.
Quiet in the chambers, please. Christine Nickel. Peter Bella. Followed by Shannon Locke and Izzy Bowser.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Bella. 10,000 local residents took to the streets and protested entirely peacefully during the June 14, 2025 No King rally and march in San Antonio. SAPD Chief McManus saluted our nonviolent protest.
Because it's my fucking live and I do what I want, that's why.
Thousands of demonstrators and organizers for showing everyone how it should be done today. Between the hard rock, which is SB4, and I understand from the brief description we've had so far, that it puts you all between a rock and a hard place. I get that. But on the other hand is how we carry ourselves in San Antonio, how we respect each other, and how we work out our differences together, and we find the common ground we need.
Yes.
I will continue to pursue nonviolent direct action, or as the late American civil rights leader and Congressman John Lewis called it, good trouble. But the deployment of ICE in Los Angeles, Chicago, and now Minneapolis has promoted confrontation and has escalated violence, notably in the shooting death by an ICE agent, Renee Good, followed by the dismissal of the murderer at the highest levels of the federal government immediately after Ms. Good's death. I will continue my good trouble protests, but we need to
If y'all are
recognize
sharing anything about ICE, any corruption in your city, follow each other. We need to take care of each other right now.
the favor of that peaceful protest. We look to you to keep us protected, as you always try to do, and even given the constraints of SB4, keep ICE out of San Antonio. Thank you.
Thank you, Maine. Oh, I heard about Maine.
Good afternoon, Mayor Jones, Council. My name is Shannon Locke. I'm running to be the next Bexar County District Attorney on the Democratic ticket. I'm not board certified in criminal law. And I'm here to explain to you how we should hold ICE accountable. I'm not only a criminal defense attorney who practices criminal law in federal and state court, also a father, husband, neighbor who's seen their family and friends terrorized by ICE. Any perception of investigative cooperation with ICE damages community trust. It causes victims to hesitate and
Thank you, North Carolina. Thank you, South Carolina.
That increases community danger.
Sorry, I'm trying to watch and read at the same time.
Indiscriminate arrests are illegal in the state of Texas. Detention requires reasonable suspicion. Arrests require probable cause. Raids that detain innocent people are unlawful. When these occur, those agents must be investigated and referred for prosecution. What they have to do is they can observe and investigate these unlawful raids and refer those unlawful raids to the DA's office for prosecution. As the only board-certified district attorney, I will have my prosecutors, once I'm elected, review these cases and submit them to the grand jury. The grand jury finds that criminal acts have occurred, and detaining somebody illegally is a kidnapping. Pointing a gun at somebody without justification or lawful if the grand jury finds probable cause, they'll issue warrants for their evidence. The federal government will then try to remove the federal court, but we litigate that in front of our federal judiciary, who is saying things that they have never said before about our federal agency, because those agents are doing things they've never done before. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Izzy Bowser. She's not here anymore. Madalisho Devera. Madalisho Devera. Gilberto Avila. Followed by Kate Sanchez and Deanne Cuellar. Please line up.
Hi, Ohio. Hi, Massachusetts.
I first would just like to pause for a moment and just to kind of reflect on all the compassion and care that unites us all here today. I just want everyone to kind of look around and see all of these amazing people who have come today and given some time out of our afternoon to stand up for those who couldn't be here today. I'd also like to acknowledge all the caregivers that have allowed us to be here today. And just hello as
They're not live streaming this, they're hiding it.
And what has compelled me to come today is to express the need to minimize our cooperation with SAPD and to reflect on what strategies the city is going to do to address the needs of our students. Our students are already under threat. There are already students who are feeling unable to attend school safely. There are students we haven't seen in months now. And we need to learn what is the city going to do to protect our students as they attend school. Secondly, we all have, it's well established that our community is safer when our residents are confident that when our local authorities are not federal immigration authorities and they can count on local authorities to render aid and assistance. The harm that is caused to our community when violence is not reported will make our streets less safe for documented and undocumented residents alike. We are safer when our local law enforcement are focused on local issues and not national policies. I hear that SAPD is going to secure scenes for ICE, and I'm curious to learn, how do we know if these scenes that they are securing are lawful? How do we know that it's not indiscriminate detainment? How do we know that it's not just some untrained federal masked agent detaining my family? If I'm on my way to church and I have an aggressive armed agent with a gun on our face, on our families, can I go to an SAPD agent for assistance? Who is going to come in my family's aid when an armed man is having a gun to our head? No ICE in San Antonio. Thank you.
Kate Sanchez. Deanne Cuellar. Followed by Martha Jones and Nanda Tomas.
They're meeting right now?
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor and council
My
members.
ride's not here, as long as he's actually like parking right now, so I guess I'll wait for him and go.
I'm queer, I'm Jewish, I'm disabled.
If y'all want to go, y'all can go. I'm fine. Yeah, y'all can go.
I'm here because I'm scared. First they
Cause
came
I think she's watching still.
and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left for me. This is a quote by German pastor Martin Rollier. It's often referred to as a poem. These are words about the guilt and responsibility and difference in inaction. There's multiple versions of this quote that exist because the author changed the list of victims for different audiences. And the quote was a confession to show Germans how
I kind of want to stay because I already know it's going to get crazy afterwards, so I kind of want to stay for that. And I'm getting another battery pack.
I did not speak out because I had papers and a real ID. Then they came for the journalists and asylum seekers, and I did not speak out.
Every protest, there's always something happening.
Then they shot and killed a mom in a minivan and took a 5-year-old waiting in the cold at preschool for his dad, and I did not speak out. And then they came for all of us, and there was no one left to speak. Because silence, violence, and cruelty learned how to wear a mask and call itself the law. Thank you.
Javier Solis.
Okay, council members, mayors, mayor, chief, and fans, thank you all and your staff for giving us the opportunity to share our feelings. My name is Margaret Jones, PhD. I'm a retired professor from UTSA in St. Mary's. I am not going to speak about ICE. I have had a personal experience with its predecessor, INS, and I'm not going to speak about that either. What I am going to speak about is the proud heritage
Did I add you on Instagram?
of law enforcement, of resistance to dictatorship. For my family, and I'm sure I speak for many families here, my first ancestors arrived in this country 395 years ago.
Y'all going over there? Okay, I'll catch up.
Arrived under a legitimate colonial government. The one who arrived from Texas in 1821, who was part of Stephen F. Austin's OP
All right.
was appointed
Y'all be
by
careful.
Stephen F. Austin as the
Yeah.
commander of the Austin Colony Militia. So in a sense, he is the forerunner of all the police departments in Texas today. They followed the law at their time. However, while they were obeying the law, their governments were replaced by autocrats and dictators.
Hi, Raven.
Peter Stuyvesant, Santa Anna, I could go on and on. My ancestors took up legal means to oust these dictators. My ancestor, may I finish my sentence, and then I'll go. My ancestor, who was the first militia hero, was killed in the line of duty in 1834. His sons fought at San Jacinto against Santa Anna. There is a long tradition of many of us here who support the position of the police in compassion, integrity, justice, and I hope that we continue to see SPUD develop.
Thank you. Another Tomas, followed by Javier Solis, and other
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Ananda Thomas, Executive Director of Act for SA and resident of District 8. I speak on behalf of our immigrant communities who live here every day because of increased ICE presence and terror in our community. For months, we have watched family members, co-workers, and our neighbors get ripped from community at immigration hearings, ICE check-ins, their homes and workplaces. We have witnessed unlawful arrests where people are being disappeared, and make no mistake, when immigrant mothers hesitate to call 911 during emergencies,
It's a meeting regarding
families
ICE.
are going hungry because they fear going to the grocery
We don't want them here.
and when folks are not going through a mental health crisis, are too scared to call for help because they fear deportation. That's not public safety. It is state-sponsored terror. And while Texas law does require certain collaboration with ICE, my understanding is that SAPD always has the ability to deny a collaboration request due to limited resources to prioritize other community needs. How many times have we heard that our public safety resources, including SAPD officers, are stretched thin despite their massive budget? Could SAPD not then deny more collaboration requests? But outside of this, you as council can act. Sorry. Okay, in Austin right now, City Council is coordinating with Austin PD to update its policies and trainings related to cooperating with ICE. Even though police officers cannot be prohibited from asking for immigration status, they are also not required to. In Kansas City, council blocked federal detention center permits so that more ICE facilities.
This is a meeting where we are asking our mayor to not comply with ICE as far as using our facilities or having our police department involved.
Put out a compassionate response about San Antonio being a welcoming city.
Sorry, I'm texting at the same
where
time.
somebody is born. It has been over 7 months and no action has been taken. Please stand with our immigrant communities and take these actions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor. My name is Javier Solis. I'm a born and raised San Antonian from District 8. I've come to City Hall today to advocate against the inhumane and degrading events conducted by ICE and local law enforcement agencies, filling San Antonians and me with disgust and fear. I'm also using this public platform to speak out against those who hold leadership roles in the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, Balcones Heights Police Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Precinct 3 Constable's Office, and the San Antonio Police Department. These agencies are supposed to prioritize citizen safety. The reality is they have collaborated with ICE to terrorize the very people who they are supposed to protect. In November 2025, SAPD sent approximately 50 officers to assist with an ICE raid, kidnapping more than 140 people, only to conclude many were not members of the suspected gang. No substantial information about 138 individuals has been provided. The lack of transparency across the board from local to federal levels is pernicious. Why are you not asking questions? Why are you not ensuring that your citizens are safe? Neither state legislation nor local authorities supersedes the Constitution. Both have violated the Constitution by assisting a group of lawless, disorderly, transgressing bigots who've done nothing but infringe upon the rights and dignity of our city, your constituents. Let me remind you all that the Fourth Amendment.
Raven, you missed it earlier, got really wild. Actually, a few times.
2017's SB 4 mandates local law enforcement to collaborate with ICE to detain undocumented residents, but not to collaborate in raids. The San Antonio Police Department has proved its commitment to ICE through its actions in the November 2025 raid. So I ask the City Council to hold those leading the agencies accountable to follow the law. I remind you all of the unwarranted traffic stops conducted on the basis of
Can you hear me better down
These
here?
stops are similar to a historical time in Germany known as the Gestapo. Will we continue to stand by? I know the constituents will not.
I never know when you're online. Okay. I was saying it got crazy earlier. We had to recess like 3 times already because it got out of hand.
It's 6 minutes, sir.
I begin my remarks with thanks and appreciation to Mayor Keith Jones.
Text, what's going on?
Members of the City Council for making it possible for us as citizens to express our concerns about the presence of ICE in our community and in our nation. My name is Abdul Badri. I'm a retired professor, a resident of San Antonio, and a resident of District 1, a taxpayer and a voter, as are my colleagues whom I will identify here today. They are Professor David Montejano, Professor Felipe Hinojosa, Professor Jerry Hoyer. My colleagues and I have established a grassroots initiative, Surviving the Ice Age, in response to the aggressive, destructive, and outrageous policies and actions of ICE. Two mantras from the Civil Rights Movement period, both attributed to the late Martin Luther King, guide our efforts. The first is, the silence of good people is worse than the brutality of bad people. Second, when bad people block, good people plan. We understand, or we've been led to understand, that our city and county officials are severely constrained by both state and federal agencies. But all of us have protections against unlawful or arbitrary actions by governmental officials granted to us in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. These include being innocent of any allegation of criminality unless proven guilty in a court of law. Our rights include being able to hold governmental bodies and officials accountable. At the very least, our elected city officials should provide us with information on what is occurring in our city as related to ICE's immigration activities. Develop a mechanism whereby city residents can report arbitrary or questionable or illegal actions against them or their neighbors by governmental agents related to immigration issues. Express their concern to ICE policies and actions that they consider illegal or inappropriate by the policies, by the violation of civil rights by ICE. We are particularly concerned because ICE has made it clear that they are targeting people not because they are documented or criminal, but simply because they appear to be Mexican, Latino, dark-skinned, otherwise. The president has made multiple public anti-Mexican statements. Stephen Miller, his principal advisor on immigration, is deeply antagonistic towards Mexicans. The Supreme Court decision that allows ICE to detain people based on their ethnic origins, their speech, and their appearance has resulted in the detention of U.S. citizens simply because they look Mexican or Latino. A majority of detainees and deportees are today Mexicans, Central Americans, and Venezuelans. And the recently, media coverage of ICE actions principally focused on California. However, over 75% of detentions in 2025 occurred in Texas. A very large percentage of the detainees are being held in Texas. ICE is active in San Antonio and is detaining citizens and non-citizens. But except for the highly publicized action against members of the alleged Tren de Aragua in December, little or nothing is being reported to the media or by our elected or appointed governmental officials. Over the past 4 months, we have seen elected and appointed officials cowed or stymied, the judicial system hamstrung, institutional officers intimidated, and corporate leaders bought off. And of course, the mainstream media has been silent. There is no cavalry who will ride to our rescue. We, as ordinary citizens, will have to join the battle ourselves. Our responsibility is not to be silent or allow ourselves to be silenced, as well as to hold the leaders of our institutions accountable for what they're doing. We ask you to join us in speaking out and to be mindful of the responsibility you have to defend our rights as residents and citizens. We have been told over and over again that our speech and our actions and your speech and your actions violate the laws of the United States.
Why do you think you're clever?
all of us, that the policies and actions of Nazi Germany, of fascist Italy, and the communist USSR were evil. But that's not to say that they were ethical, moral, right, just, or humane. Thank you.
Lydia Hernandez Tricky, Ari Chagoya, Camille Spears, okay. Followed by Shelby Lafferty and Pedro Ruiz.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for listening to some very heightened emotions. We appreciate you being here. I'm Dr. Camille Spears. I'm speaking on my own behalf as a resident of District 1. District 1. I've been an HIV doctor in San Antonio for 4 years. I'm here today to discuss how fear is undermining our community's health and safety. Last month, a patient I've known for years came in for his follow-up visit. He is someone I always look forward to seeing because he has this seriously joyful smile and in general laid-back ease about life. Years ago, he was granted asylum due to dangerous conditions in his home country, and he's always been consistent with his HIV meds and visits. Instead of talking about his health, he asked me, "How long do you think I could survive without my HIV meds?" I told him the truth, that missing even a few doses would lead to viral rebound, missing weeks to months could mean drug resistance, immune system collapse, and serious consequences. He responded that he was terrified, that he would be forced to move from the country and wanted to know if he could survive it. His fear
I'm just trying to see
I'll let all the comments
if this is going to end soon, and then
San Antonio
I get the feeling something might happen.
Coordination with ICE, that San Antonio can allow officers to use their good experiences and discretion without prohibiting coordination. There are 2 ways SAP can do that. First, write a policy allowing discretion in how officers respond to administrative warrants and other calls from ICE. Local law enforcement triage threats on a daily basis. They can choose to respond to high priority crime and public safety calls, and they can stand by and report what they're seeing and start to serve as a real force for safety in our communities. Second, strengthen protection for victims and people in health emergencies.
Absolutely.
Them not calling makes our city less safe for everyone.
There will be hell to pay.
This is an opportunity for police officers to powerfully increase their public trust. Let's create an environment that allows our city to thrive, and let's not turn San Antonio into a place where people are afraid to refill their HIV medications, send their children to school, or call 911. I urge you to write policies founded in community trust and ensure that no resident of San Antonio is forced to choose between their well-being and their safety. Thank you.
Pedro Ruiz, followed by Sarah Cruz and Hannah Ash Gates.
Hello, Mayor. I'm going to give my time to Antonio Diaz. He also signed up to speak.
Sir, your name is Pedro Ruiz?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, this guy was loud and instrumental earlier and like making us heard, and that we didn't want him to speak, and then outside
Okay, you have 4 minutes, sir. Thanks.
What we Native people were the first to be iced out of our land, reported, removed, treated as inhuman savages, even though we're human beings. A gentleman brought up the Comanche massacre. The way it was written, it was flipped, right? That the Comanche massacred, when it was they that were massacred, they and their families, their wives and shit. Over the river, hung in the old oak trees that used to be here in Plaza. A lady with a PhD over here brought up the San Jacinto battle, where the Anglos and the Texans
Tejanos defeated Santa Ana. There were 600
restroom.
natives left to rot in the field. They were fighting against slavery. Mexico had already abolished slavery since 1829. The Battle of 1836 is over slavery because all the Anglos that Santa Ana and Mexico gave empresarios, which means they were renting land to them, rebelled to take the land and establish slavery, continued slavery after 1829. That was what the Battle of the Alamo, where the Anglos were defeated. They were slave owners. They were not freedom fighters. That is the story in the history of the United States. It calls itself such a democracy, a freedom-fighting nation, when in reality it had always been a bigoted, racist country, always. In the 1960s, after battles and battles to gain civil rights, it started to change. It started to become more just. Some equality amongst all races. Everyone started to be treated as equals and human beings. Well, that is being turned back with Maynard and Donald Trump in the office. We have Greg Abbott in office that has put razor wires in the Rio Bravo for families to be able to cut up children and die there. That is Texas law. We Native people have no status in Texas because of Maryland Lamar. See, I know my history. Most natives know their history. This is a racist nation, and a very racist state. We are about changing it. Trump is one man, he will expire just like Hitler did. The German people now have a good country, and they work well with the rest of the European states. Hopefully the United States will one day recover that after Donald Trump and start working with Mexico, Canada, Greenland, and Central America, again, as their neighbors, as their allies and friends, and start respecting all people. We have something called habeas corpus in the Constitution. I'm a constitutionalist, by the way. I believe in the Constitution. I'm also a veteran. I've served this nation. But I protected the Constitution, not a tyrant, not a wannabe dictator. This Republican that are kissing boots, doing gerrymandering and redistricting districts to serve Donald Trump, are more just bootlicking KKK. I call out the Republican Party to grow a spine, and represent the people, all the people, not just your white supremacist, racist people, all the people that live within your districts, in your areas, serve your people. And let's take the lawsuit on. Let's take it again. Let us resist SB 4, 287B, all that. San Antonio can resist it. I will pay my taxes for you, for everyone here. Let's just say, go ahead and sue us. Go ahead and sue us, Brianna. We'll
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Cruz, and I am here on behalf of the ACLU Texas and as a member of the SC Stand.
Someone was touching
stand in
somebody.
solidarity with my community members that are seeking transparency, accountability, and meaningful action from our elected officials to protect San Antonio residents. Thank you, City Council members, for calling this special meeting and for the opportunity to raise our concerns. At a moment where people are being disappeared by federal immigration enforcement agents, even making San Antonio among the cities with the most ICE arrests in the country, residents deserve
She's touching her sign.
We understand that laws like Senate Bill 4 require Texas law enforcement agencies, including SAPD, to honor ICE detainers, and that no policy may prohibit them from cooperating with ICE federal agencies. However, local officials and law enforcement continue to have wide discretion as to how they interact with ICE and other problematic federal agencies. As part of ensuring transparency and accountability when local officials do collaborate with ICE, this meeting is a good first step and must continue. The scenes of families being detained at the immigration courthouse after ICE check-ins and on the street in San Antonio are unfortunately familiar to us all. But I want to highlight the tactics that ICE agents are using against people. In addition to racially profiling individuals, agents are using chokeholds, including a report of one 16-year-old in Houston, threatening to tear gas homes, cutting the electricity of homes, and other uses of excessive force. Then, as you have already heard, a newly revealed internal ICE memo stated that officers and agents can forcibly enter homes without a judicial warrant signed by a judge, rubber stamping the intentional violation of people's constitutional rights. When SAPD chooses to prioritize a request from ICE over other public safety efforts, this is the agency their time, officers, and resources are supporting. This does not make San Antonio safer, and officers shouldn't be co-opted into the efforts of the agency of creating a civil rights crisis. After the passage of SB 4, the City of Austin took action by passing Freedom City's policies to help uphold the rights of the residents. San Antonio can do the same. Our team of coalition would like to work with your office to craft policies that safeguard the rights and dignity of San Antonio residents. Thank you for your time.
Followed by William Ricto and then Christina Santiago.
Good afternoon. I'm an immigration lawyer, but more importantly, I'm a resident of District 1. I'm concerned about the safety of my
immigration lawyer.
A lot of people have mentioned the raid that happened in November on Alpha San Pedro, and I want to talk specifically about one young man who was taken that night by federal agents with the support of SAPD. I represent that young man, and he already won his immigration case several years ago. He has indefinite legal status here in this country, no criminal convictions, no ties to any gangs. That night, he finished his shift at work and he went to get some food trucks. He was sitting in his car when he was surrounded by federal agents. Without asking him any questions, those agents busted every window in his car except for the windshield. They pulled him out, put him on a bus, shackled him, cuffed him, and took him to another facility. Only then did they ask him for ID or any evidence of his immigration status. When my client presented his driver's license and his social security card, I said they were fake, and they put him in detention.
What the fuck?
I don't know where those documents are today, since they were not in his wallet when the wallet was returned to him after his security release after 4 weeks in detention.
Did you hear that?
Anyone who is here
They took his social security card and ID and said that they were fake, and they still don't have those documents. They never got those documents back.
He has legal immigration status, like you likely do. There is no legal reason for him to be a target for enforcement, and he spent 4 weeks in a prison, separated from his young children, and still struggling to pay for more than $2,000 worth of damage to his car. Don't think that that couldn't happen to any of us. The leadership of this city and law enforcement have a mandate to look after the well-being and safety of the residents. I have spoken to people who are afraid to call the police to report domestic violence. Children are being kept home from school. There's rising food insecurity because people are afraid to leave their homes. The way ICE is operating in this country is incompatible with the safety and the well-being of the residents of San Antonio.
Miguel Rodriguez.
Hi, my name is William Thomas Whipper. So I live in District 10 on the West March, right? And I'm here to oppose any cooperation with ICE, and I dare say they should be removed from this city and never set foot here ever again. For normal, we take ICE free reign to go after anyone using any one of 4 factors. 1, the presence of any particular cases, such as bus stops.
Go get her card, please. Go see if she has the card. The one that just spoke. The one that just spoke. Go get her. The immigration lawyer. She's talking to the woman right here in the gray.
As Justice Sotomayor said, quote, the government has all but declared that Latinos, U.S. citizens, or not are fair game to be seized at any time, end quote. According to the 2020 census, about 1.5 million people live in San Antonio, with roughly 64% of the population being 150,000 San Antonians are targeted to these illegal ICE raids. ICE is nothing more than a state-sponsored terrorist, and there is no cooperation, no negotiation with these thugs, only just move. If the boy y'all dare to try to hide behind the 2017, 23 Senate Bill 4, here's a quote from Thomas Jefferson. If a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so.
Joe Garza, followed by Jessica Lambert and Esmeralda Alday.
Let me get over here. What's happening?
Hello, my name is Joe Garza, I'm from District 8, and I can only tell you what happened today. So I got here about 12 o'clock, and I am, as you know, against, I'm for ICE, and...
You were agitating! You were agitating!
Can I reclaim my time? Okay, so, I've been...
I have you on video, you're agitating.
I've been against gays. They've been hating me, calling me faggots and all kinds of words. And I think it's really sad. They say it's a room of love, and it's not. As you see, they're just trying to stop somebody from the first speech, having Ronaldo Alday speak. That's his First Amendment right.
Oh my God.
Also,
get the fuck out of here, bro.
The other thing that I have done was I asked everybody, I told everybody that they can cut in line.
Fucking agitator. That's what I have on video earlier, agitating.
It was pretty easy. Nobody cut in line. That is law.
You have him on video telling her, the girl, I was like, to take off her mask, and he was agitating the whole line.
Law enforcement works, order works, and the city
Thank you.
is offering perimeter security. They need to secure ICE. They need to secure protesters.
We have to let them talk, otherwise it delays and we're trying to get the hell out of here. But we were doing that earlier. We went to recess like 3 times already.
In San Antonio and the United States. So I ask you to please work with ICE, not against. Working against ICE is dangerous for all. And I hope you signed the 287G to cooperate. Balcones Heights has signed the 287G, and I hope that SAPD does.
You were agitating. You were agitating. I have you on video agitating, you liar. I'm gonna post that shit.
Thank you. Everybody's talking about immigration. This is not, we welcome immigration, but they need to do it the right way. This is all about illegal immigrants. And thank you for your time.
Mwah.
Jessica Lambert. Jessica.
I'm also a dual citizen.
Jessica. Jessica Lambert. You're wearing a pedophile shirt, by the way. Order. Jessica Lambert, followed by Esmeralda.
Oh, I have him on video. I'm gonna post all that later.
Okay, you're Esmeralda. Thank you. And then Abigail Stevens, and then Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jones and City Council for the time this evening. I am going to be relaying some messages on behalf of our families that are communicated in Spanish. So I'd like to keep to the authenticity of their messaging. Could I possibly get additional time to
I can't wait to clip this shit. I can't wait to clip this motherfucking shit. And put his ass fucking blast, going up and down the line, fucking with all of us. And now, Emmy, did you see earlier? Let me shut the fuck up.
Representing the families that we support through in schools, an organization that supports families and our schools to ensure that our learning spaces are safe and welcoming environments for students regardless of their status. So I'm going to start with sharing direct testimonials from families that have been shared with me. These have been shared in confidence through families that we build trust with. The majority of these
I think Nish is talking about the piece of shit that was just up there. It's because we get called agitators too.
So we do heavily support families on the west side of San Antonio. I'm going to start with the first one here. Y quiero preguntarle si usted sabe de alguna escuela en línea en la que puedo inscribir a mi niña ahora con esto de inmigración. Tenemos mucho miedo, la quiero sacar de la escuela, pero no quiero que se quede sin estudios. I'd like to ask if you know of any resources for online schooling for my daughter. With all of this stuff happening with immigration, we have a lot of fear. I want to take her completely out of school, but I don't want her to stay without an education. Second message. Yo tengo mucho miedo de llevar a mi niño a la escuela. Hoy no lo llevaré porque publicaron que ICE está acá. This one is recent. I am very afraid of taking my son to school. I'm not going to take him to school today. There's reports that ICE is in the area. This is a family, a mom that lives on the border of Buenos Aires and the San Antonio border. A third message. Estoy intrigada sobre este tema de los niños en las escuelas. A mí me da miedo enviar a mi niño a school y la verdad ya no sé si enviarlos o no sé qué hacer. I am very perplexed about this issue with our students in our schools. I am afraid of sending my child to this school, and truly, I'm not sure whether I should keep sending them or not. I don't know what to do. So what we're hearing here is confusion, fear, what are our guarantees of safety in our schools, and this isn't just one school district that we are speaking on behalf of, or parents that attend several school districts across the city. Last message here, trabajamos con miedo e incertidumbre, el no saber qué va a pasar, no nos vamos a rendir, lo único que podría terminar con nosotros es que ya no acepten nuestros hijos en las escuelas. We work with fear and uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen. Of course, we're not going to give up. The only thing that would completely tear us down is knowing that schools would no longer be safe places for our students. And so these are messages that we've been hearing over the course of,
Thank you for liking the live. It's important that we get people to understand that Texas is not all Republican, and we don't want ICE here either. Half of us are Democrats or left-leaning, however you want to call it.
Tenure as an educator, but never to this degree.
This is the second meeting, and as you can see, it's been pretty, if you've been here from the beginning, this has been stressful, but I think if we have another meeting, it's going to get, that one's, they don't do something, the next meeting's going to get crazy, like really fucking crazy.
Our schools and our families, I'm going to ask if possible that Region 20 or that the superintendents in the area come together and come up with a proactive plan so that we're not where many applicants are. Thank you.
Abigail Stevens, followed by Debbie Benke and Gridiana Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Abigail Stevens, and I'm a lifelong resident of San Antonio. I'm here today because of my deep love for the city and the community that we've created. I want to begin by reminding you all of something that is often forgotten about your position. You work for every single person that you see in front of you today.
That's right.
What the public says here matters more than any pressure from the state and more than any so-called higher authority. this is about the law. This obsession with your legality in the face of oppression will be the death of us. The truth is, you have a choice, and that choice demands an honest answer. So think, what is your purpose in your position? Why are you in that seat? Is it so that you can turn your back on all of us while ICE is terrorizing our community? Is it so that you can keep your job while our neighbors get ripped out of theirs? So I ask you, are your hands truly tied, or are you just choosing to turn away while ICE is tying up people's entire bodies? Mayor, council, now is the time to choose. Will you stand up for the people of San Antonio, or will you back down? Compliance has never protected people. It never has. When SAPD is pulled into immigration enforcement, you do not create safety, you foster fear. SAPD cannot protect or serve this community while having any cooperation with ICE. You still have agency. You can limit cooperation. You can refuse to volunteer city resources for injustice. We would not be the first city to do so, and we would not be the last. During the civil rights era, cities and local officials chose resistance over compliance when state and federal mandates enforced discrimination. Many other cities chose compliance on the grounds of following the law, and trust me, history judged them harshly for it. History remembers choices, and it will remember yours.
Diana Caizales. Kristen Coulthard.
Good job. Thank you.
Kristen Coulthard. Claudia Torkelson. Justice Martinez. Followed by Janelle Ortega and Danielle Houghton.
Oh, this dude.
Hello, my name is Justice Martinez, as you just said, and I take pride in that, specifically justice. And what I see is a lot of injustice. I see a lot of threats, a lot of discrimination, racism, all this BS that's happening right here. Why is it that we have someone like in New York, Zoran Mamdani, who has condemned ICE and is able to advocate
exactly, yes.
an elected mayor of ICE and said, hey, threatening our citizens, our people, and said, hey, I don't want them in my city. Yet I have yet heard anything from you, Gina, a person who I voted for. I'm a constituent here.
Yeah, Gina.
I do not vote for you, Misty, but I hope that you, after hearing all of these citizens, all of these people who are voted citizens, we have a little bit of a change of mindset here. We can stand against ICE, against tyranny, against fascism. Right now, we have all these laws like that. There are people more qualified than I who have spoke on the legality of this. But I want to speak to you, human to human, every single one of you, our elected officials that are supposed to represent our city. This is the power of the people. Every single person who's come out here today, who has stood forward, put their life on the line, because yes, our name's on here. I guarantee you, do not give a fuck. They do not care, right? We're putting our lives on the line just to speak and voice our concerns. I have 30 cops in my neighborhood. Why are there 30 cop cars?
Be careful.
I don't know how many cops are in those cars. Why are there 30 cop cars driving through my neighborhood at 11:30 p.m. at night? That's crazy. That's insane. We're not going to allow this fascist system to exist. I ask you, every single one of you, to denounce this fascist system, to denounce ICE. Thank you.
Janelle Ortega. Show your face. Daniel Houghton. Oh, you did it right. Daniel Houghton. Followed by Briar Barrera and then Ruben Azadiega.
Hello, my name is Daniel Houghton, and I'm a civil rights attorney here in San Antonio. But the thing I want to talk about tonight is not what I do for a living, but how inspired I have been today. And the people who have come up here, while sometimes rough around the edges, I've also noticed there are others who are shaking like a leaf.
I'm sorry
nervous.
for your loss.
But they stood up with courage in their hearts, doing what they didn't want to do because they knew they needed to defend their neighbors. I know that that very courage not just exists in San Antonio, but on the city council as well. And the reason that those folks are up here tonight is because we must be spurred into action after what's happened in our country. And because there are steps that this city council can take to do so. But first, we must be spurred to action. After the killing of Nicole Renee Good, many folks are wondering, who is next? And
We've been here since 1 o'clock. People are leaving after they speak.
The reality is that it's not just Nicole Renee Good, but it is many folks across the country who have been placed in immigration detention, whether lawful or not, who have lost their lives. Last year was one of the deadliest years on record for ICE detention. And in fact, just recently, in the Camp East Montana facility, there was a death that a medical examiner ruled was a homicide as a result of the folks working in that ICE detention facility. The people here tonight are here to try to stand up for their neighbors that I have represented who are stuck in immigration detention, in illegal detention, because they don't want to see the same thing happen to them. And this city council is not powerless to do anything about it. Mayor Ortiz, at the beginning of today, you would ask questions about whether there were steps the city could take. For example, something like telling folks their rights when an SAPD is investigating someone for their immigration background. And in fact, this is a policy that the city of Austin
Thank you for sharing.
that they implemented in 2018, nearly 8 years ago, and they haven't been joined by 2017 SB4. So insofar as you're hearing that you're powerless to do something, those are statements you should push back against, and I'm happy to act as a resource to help you.
Briar Moreno, Ruben Arciniega, followed by Tim Wright and David Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Real quickly, for the most part, everything has been said. I take great pride in our community and their ability to stand tall amidst the difficulties that we face. But more importantly, I want to focus on not necessarily the activities, or rather the action that you will have to take once we exit this meeting, but also the idea that we're here to specifically engage, protect, defend, and work with our communities. Not necessarily just for the sake of immigration, but for the sake of human rights. At this point, like everyone has said, there have been injuries, there have been deaths, there have been homicide, but history will judge us correctly if in fact we decide to do the right thing. Let's be honest with ourselves, it's not that hard. I would advocate and say this, please do not collaborate with ICE, because if we do, if we decide to go forward in that step, understand there will be implications for our largely Latino minority community. More importantly, there are people that are unable to be here today with us. And even though that's a reality, that doesn't mean that they're not heard. That's why we're here today, to advocate and to speak to that. And lastly, I'll say this, it's not controversial, but more specifically to all the Latino men who advocate for ICE, who advocate for racial injustice, who advocate for this prejudice that we call immigration policy, understand that you will be next too. And there are some of those men who are standing in this hall today. They must understand there will be no limits to this. So whether you agree with me or not, I say this. Please help defend our most vulnerable communities. We believe that you can do it. It won't be easy. But in addition, we're with you. So understand you have that support. Now is not the time for cowards and people that don't have spines. Thank you.
David Maldonado, and then Mary Salcedo.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council, and I appreciate you taking the time to hear all of our voices. I just wanted to start out by saying there's been a lot of talk about the deaths of citizens at the hands of ICE, but I wanted to highlight two major incidences. One was 52 migrants that were killed, left in the back of a semi-trailer here in San Antonio. And that was due to illegal traffickers bringing those people in with no safeguards. And those people were all, those were 52 deaths. that happened right here. And then also, over the last 4 years, we've had 300,000 migrant children who have been gone missing and who have been trafficked. And fortunately, the new administration has been to, just this last count 2 days ago, has been able to recover 162,000. ICE and HSI has been able to recover, confirmed 167,000 of those missing children.
Stop watching Fox News.
And all of you here on the city council and the mayor, you take an oath to uphold the rule of law. And in the United States, the rule of law is what separates us from civilization and from anarchy. And I would highly recommend, given the state of the open borders we had in the last 4 years and the unprecedented millions of illegal aliens that invaded the country, that you not only do the bare minimum to partner with Plan B, with Senate Bill B, and 287, and I would actually
Please finish your sentence, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because they
Finish your sentence.
So I would recommend that you actually not only look to the bare minimum to cooperate with ICE and the federal government and the state, with SAPD and the sheriff's office, but you try to go to think of ways to work with them to make their job easier and to help protect them.
That's it! Supporting Trump will make you taller!
Oh my God, that's funny.
Amidst all the other comments and empirical data, I would like to use my time to address the council not only directly but personally. District 1, your pillars are infrastructure, public safety, parks, community care, small business, and affordable housing in District 1. And you're not only aware, but extremely vocal about how ICE affects your district, its constituents, and its community. This is what we need more of. District 2, Jalen and Key Rodriguez. Pillars on equitable investment in our city.
I don't know why these people think that Trump is like their best friend, and that they can contact him, and that he's gonna save them.
You openly advocate in your re-election campaign to ensure that city maintains no contracts with ICE, and you also openly oppose migrant detention centers in the city. This is what we appreciate and need more of from the rest of your city council members. District 3, Phyllis Byers, not here enough, but I wish she could. She was an elementary school teacher, then moved to the SAPC police force as a domestic violence advocate, moved into the tourism industry, and having more in between then and now. It was super role as a city member council. And I don't want to speak for her, but her resume clearly shows that San Antonio embodies her entire career. You grew up in the South Side, and again, I don't want to speak to you on your behalf even further, but my mom grew up in the South Side of San Antonio, so I know how proud South Side San Antonio can be. I also know that I could not find any.
Oh my God, here we go. Something's happening over here. Something's happening over here.
I can only hope that you stand against them in tandem with your background, but frankly, your lack of public disclosure on your stance in tandem with their background is extremely discouraging to that idea.
What do you say? Piss her
District
off.
4, Edward Lumbia. People are advocating for residents to ensure better quality infrastructure projects, greater access to city services. I'm going to interrupt you because I'm right now, I'm sorry, but I would like to address Marquardt specifically. You support law enforcement openly, and while I have no problem with that, you cannot use that in tandem with supporting ICE. ICE is not a respectable law enforcement entity. In the 2025 San Antonio ICE protests, you called them distasteful, openly and publicly. What is so distasteful about a peaceful protest? My question further, what do you find so distasteful about a protest that openly condemns ICE raiding schools? Your kids attend schools. God forbid ICE decides that your schools are next. God forbid that you...
Thank you. So you can submit the rest of your comments to the record.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, followed by Noel Senatelli and Marissa Grimaldo.
Hello, my name is Zach Vico-Minier from District 1. I am deeply sickened by the daily news of the continuous malpractice of ICE across America. We all see the violence perpetrated on American citizens by these masked thugs. We witness the constitutional and human right violations being reported
I
for
did last week.
propaganda on social media.
If we have another meeting,
and we see our public leaders
I'll talk
either
because I
cheer
think
on
that
this
one's going
Gestapo
to
or
be
turn
10
a blind
times
eye to
crazier.
those atrocities.
I don't know if you were here for all the recesses we had.
ICE raids is unacceptable. These men and women who claim to protect and serve this community
next
are
week for
aiding
sure.
in the harassment
Or next
and
one.
illegal
I
detainment
hope we don't. I
of
don't
these
see why the
people.
hell we need another one.
Any assistance an SAPD
I feel like
gives
it's a
to
pony
ICE
show.
deems them accomplices in these atrocities.
We don't know yet.
And if their defense
The last
is
time
that
was
they're
on
just
the
doing their job, I recommend seeking new employment.
1 week ago was on the 14th.
I personally know people who have been wrongfully harassed by ICE. I know teachers who have told me about their students whose parents and siblings have been taken from them. And I ask, who is this benefiting? How is this doing a service to San Antonio? Our Vice President has made it clear that ICE is above the law and will never have to answer for their atrocities. I cannot think of anything worse for our city or our country than our pedophile president's lawless secret police conducting an ethnic cleansing in the name of making this country great again. I strongly urge all San Antonio agencies to cut ties and cease all collaborations with ICE. I also ask our elected leaders to push against the pressures of Abbott and Trump. We the people are paying attention, and we will remember who was here for us in these troubled times. Thank you.
Marissa Grimaldo. Followed by Juan Rivera and Diana Flores-Villegas.
I am tired of this show that conflates this meeting with public safety. If this body was actually concerned about public safety, then Mark White would have his driver's license revoked. If this meeting was about public safety, we would be calling for the immediate arrest of Renee Nicole Good's killer, Jonathan Ross. If this meeting was about public safety, we would pass legislation to ban masks on these terrorist thugs. If this meeting was about safety, the mayor wouldn't capitulate to white supremacists in these chambers. And this couldn't possibly be about safety because ICE is not compatible with public safety. ICE directly opposes public safety. ICE is a threat to our safety, to all of us. Their violence is indiscriminate, and ICE is incompatible with safety because ICE is state-sponsored terrorism. And let's be clear, it's
Baby
also
Trump
not
right
about
there.
trust or
Little baby Trump.
It's
Baby Trump supporter.
when council members
Look at little baby Trump. Little
met
baby
with ICE
Trump.
officials last week before even hearing from their own constituents. I mean, actually, between Mark's texting and snack breaks, he spent more time with ICE officials than with the residents of this city that he claims to represent. We want accountability from ICE.
He's getting called out hard. There's a whole flyer on his ass.
From this council.
Pony show!
Members to actually speak with organizers who have been boots on the ground for our immigrant siblings. And to stop acting like their hands are tied. There are ways to honor the oaths that you took and protect your constituents. You hear the people's opinions here today. Well, at least the members that are present, my council is present. But it's the popular opinion of the people. We demand no immunity for ICE, no collaboration with ICE. Thank you.
Good evening. I had good afternoon earlier. My name is Juan Rivera. I'm in District 4. I am asking today for us to prioritize dignity. I was recently told by an educator named Jai that an ICE arrest happened outside an elementary campus next to a convenience store. My statement is not about contesting federal authority, but to protect dignity. The issue is when and where these actions happen, especially when they can occur right next to our schools and perhaps hospitals. I believe the city can voice time, place, and manner without being labeled obstructionist. For the safety of students and the dignity of families, I'm asking the city to explore creating protective zones around educational institutions, as well as other locations with vulnerability, similar to other public safety buffer zones the city already recognizes. This would not interfere with federal law. It would reflect our local values and our responsibility to protect kids. If this already exists, please make it public to assure students and families. The Supreme Court has made clear in Tyler v. Doe, 1982, that undocumented students, all students, have the right to an uninterrupted public education. The city of San Antonio can help protect that promise by ensuring schools remain safe and stable, and for at least in those moments, avoiding distractions created by federal operations. At the end of the day, protecting dignity, especially of our children, should
Listen to him, Eric. Protect his own.
So then you're aware of the ISIS and dealing with all the children in there?
Not aware of a lot of these kids need to get the documentation and parents and not be broken from the school. They don't have travel documents and they're being put into the system. So we need to document these kids. We need our fair
Sorry, Angel Garza. Okay. Angel Garza, followed by Rosana Ibanez, and then Eric Quiroz.
Good evening, Mayor Gina and gentlemen, and City Council. My name is Angel Garza. I'm from District 3. I'm a husband, father of 3. I'm a proud son of the late Senator Dacha. I'm a local artist, creative, and a musician. I'm here today to use my First Amendment right to have my neighbors and Tejanos too scared to voice their concerns. What I'm about to say is out of love and reverence for my city and beautiful people that call it home.
So I gave you my number. I got it. I want to.
This year, a group of armed men composed of convicted felons and gross opportunists have made America's cities more unsafe and left a path of destruction and violence in their wake. ICE under DHS disappeared.
That's good to know. I would love to do that too.
622,000 people.
I'm sorry?
Been responsible for 30 plus deaths in their country.
Especially now more than ever.
And have maimed and blinded citizens exercising their constitutional rights. If that's not enough, there also have been cruelly separated children, grandparents, and families. Sadly, our federal tax dollars pay for this bullshit. It pays for this bullshit. This tyrannical machine, but the local taxes pay for local law enforcement to protect and serve us. Now, a lawful group is here.
Sorry, I was talking to somebody on the setting. We're gonna figure out if there's gonna be another meeting or if they're gonna have a conclusion or what they're gonna do. I'll definitely keep everybody updated. You can DM me too if you see an update.
I urge you to be strong and be a force actively that supports liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Please hold these lawbreakers accountable, protect our Constitution, the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Absolutely. I say rise up against this injustice, and thank you.
Eric Quiroz. Jasmine Herrera. Followed by Kristen Pope and Anna Smithman.
I'm just gonna read a quote that I had heard. Terrible things are happening outside. Terrible people are being dragged outside of their homes. Families are torn apart. Men, women, and children are separated. Children come home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. Diary of Anne Frank, January 13, 1943. Today is January 22nd, 2026. This is happening right now. We're going backwards. Just really think about that. And I wanted to go against this without peace working with ICE. I know I don't have a lot of time, but I have a lot more to say. I think that's it right now. Thank you.
Kristen Hook, followed by Anna Sutherland and Chris Combs.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Dr. Kristen Hook. Mi parezo como una griega, pero soy media latina. I'm a Democrat running for U.S. Congress in Texas' 21st Congressional District, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the constituents that I hope to represent here in San Antonio. I'm urging you to vote no on any measure that would have San Antonio Police coordinate with ICE. As a scientist, I'm reminded of the Stanford prison experiment. In that study, students were given power as guards with little oversight, and it quickly turned into abuse, forcing the study to end early. Not because they were evil, but because absolute power corrupts absolutely. That lesson matters today. ICE was created under the guise to keep our communities safe, but it has done anything but. They're operating with extraordinary authority and zero accountability, resulting in terror on our streets, a mother being shot in the head, children being tear gassed, and now death by strangulation in El Paso of a Cuban detainee. ICE claimed that was suicide, and it wasn't, according to a judge. An agency that has nothing to hide wouldn't wear masks, and they wouldn't lie about deaths in their custody. If Republicans in Congress won't stop the militarization of our communities and the aggressive targeting of immigrant families at schools and in healthcare facilities and places of worship, then I implore you to stop it by voting no on SAPD cooperation with ICE. San Antonio communities are afraid to call 911, everyone is less safe. This is not about ideology, this is about governance. Choose accountability, choose safety, and choose the dignity of San Antonians. Thank you.
Chris Combs. Chris Combs. Erica Bristolovic. Erica Bristolovic.
Is this gonna air tonight or tomorrow? Is this gonna air tonight or tomorrow? I'm sorry? It's been airing all day. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. You said it was live streamed last time, that's why, and it wasn't live streamed.
Your name, please. Erica Bristolovic. Your okay, got it. The next person will be Elias Almonte, followed by Diana Alcip.
My name is Erica Bristolovic, and I am a proud resident of Beacon Hill and a constituent of District 1. I stand here today as a San Antonio community member, pleading you to help protect those we love and who call your districts home. I'm a volunteer at a nonprofit that combats food insecurity through garden-based learning.
Last time they said it was, it says live stream in progress. The last time we were here was not being live streamed. But this is the actual news station that's here.
Those same children drop down and run to the side of a white van for fear that it is ICE. Coming to the door to drop off food, a child said to me, "Knocks on the door make my mom tremble in fear. Instead, can you tap your fingers on the window like a song?" I talk to parents terrified each morning when their kids go to school, increasingly close to keeping their children at home. But as we have seen this past week on the west side with reports of ICE going door to door, being home too is increasingly dangerous.
You are welcome.
The people of this city and your districts are living in terror. To allow any city resources to funnel into ICE operations is to fund violence and harm to your district members. To do so in a city that already struggles to find sufficient city resources to fund basic city needs like functional infrastructure, food programs,
the guy in the red
essential
was
healthcare, and
saying,
keeping
well, they were
school
calling
boards
your name,
open
they were
is
calling your
absolutely
name, and you weren't here.
unacceptable.
He said, I'll find
All
you
of
to
us
talk.
here know that there is more that we can do to combat ISIS's presence and protect the city. We do not need to look far to see examples of protective actions, as others mentioned. Austin City Council passes freedom city policies that prevent the risk of ICE detainment upon arrest
But that makes you realize how to think
requires
I'll
officers
find
to
it.
advise everyone of their basic rights, and for them to provide basic transparency for the ways that it assists ICE operations. As a lifelong Texan, I know that the oppressive power of state politics can be overwhelmingly restraining. But as San Antonians, we are also acutely aware of the power of collective care and the agency that can be found when we're willing to be scrappy, creative, persistent, and unyielding. It is this work that I call you all to today. Thank you.
Followed by Diana Wilson and Lindsay Andrews.
Yeah, we were all saying about that.
My name is Untitled+LIVE. Born and raised San Antonio. Southside San Antonio represent. I want to speak out against the disgusting atrocities that ICE has been committing, and I would encourage that the rest of you actually think critically about this, seeing that we have proof, visual proof, time and time again, even just testimonies from people that ICE is just unjust and unlawful and will kill anybody they see fit. It doesn't matter what the law is. They have proven time and time again they will not follow the law. And it is discouraging and disgusting to go outside and see my neighborhoods becoming empty because nobody wants to go outside because they're too afraid that they are either going to get shot or deported, even though they have been living here for countless years. And it is disgusting seeing that my high school I was told that my high school was going to be a part of another ICE raid. For what? They're just kids trying to learn. What threat could they possibly pose? Gang violence? What gangs? What proof? It's your responsibility to keep us safe. How is collaborating with literal fascists safe? And let me remind people that, yes, it may be reminiscent of Nazi Germany, but America did it first because America would tear gas immigrants at the border, and it did not stop until the 70s. Mexicans, Latino Americans were being tear gassed, they were being stripped, beaten, abused, and raped at the border, trying to get a better life in America. And this is what we need again. And we're doing it again today after we tried to end it back in the 70s. All that I ask is that we do not collaborate with ICE at all. Thank you.
Lindsay Andrews.
Lindsay.
Soraya Centeno. Isabel Varela.
Goddamn finger.
Okay, please come forward. Followed by Isabel Varela and Jonah Wilson Leos.
He's gonna say he was here all the time. He's gonna try to be the last one.
If I may have a little more time to provide or translate my speech in Spanish, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I do
Thank you for
sometimes.
having me here. I appreciate a lot of your time.
You give me a big laugh sometimes, Jeff.
When I was little, I used to get excited when at my elementary school, police amateurs went to host a program called There. It was to prevent children from the dangers of drugs. I used to think it was admirable how the police officers fought crimes, how they were there to protect us. I used to look up for them. For me, law enforcement officers were meant to serve and protect the community around them. No matter who they were, where they're from, where they were born, whom they love, or what beliefs they had. What's happening today in different states and cities may raise that belief and admiration towards them. If someone has an accident, if someone is distorted, if someone is being robbed, if someone is being raped, if someone is suffering domestic violence, which we already know is hard for victims to come forward, would calling the police mean destroying their daily lives and future? Because now they would have to be worried about being deported. How many more families will get separated for a traffic stop? Not for not having a criminal record, which most of them don't, but the reason for traffic violations, we have no license, which is not even an option for them. Because if they had the opportunity of acquiring one, they would. Just like they actually pay car insurances, car registrations, taxes, and many more things required by law. A family will get torn apart and destroyed for this. Children will get traumatized for life. The emotional damage that this is causing to human beings and to our community is unbearable. When will the community be able to trust a police officer if they start cooperating with ICE? When will people feel safe to ask for help if the help becomes a danger? My admiration and respect for law enforcement officers is something that I grew up with, but this kind of policies will make it so difficult for me to continue having. We have lived among our immigrant communities for decades, and most of them are hardworking, decent human beings with no criminal records, who are contributing, who are building and helping our economy. We don't need to be a blue state to start making a change for all of our community. Instead of dividing, discriminating, or bringing fear, why not make programs to bring us more together? Let's grow together as a community. Let's move forward, not backwards. Cuando yo estaba pequeña en mi escuela elemental, había un programa que se llamaba DARE, donde los policías iban y nos enseñaban cómo nos protegían de las drogas que estaban allá afuera. Yo pensaba que eso era un trabajo admirable. Yo miraba a los policías con admiración, porque ellos estaban ahí para protegernos, estaban ahí para proteger a todos, no importaba de dónde vinieran, a quién amaban, dónde habían nacido o sus creencias. Lo que está pasando hoy en diferentes ciudades puede ser que esa admiración se nos quite. Si alguien tiene un accidente, o si alguien está siendo extorsionado, si alguien está siendo robado, o si alguien está siendo violado, si alguien está sufriendo de violencia doméstica, que sabemos que ahorita para las víctimas es muy difícil hablar de ese tema. Hablar de la policía significará que les va a destruir su vida y su futuro. Porque ahora eso significa que pueden ser deportados. ¿Cuántas más familias van a ser separadas por una violación de tráfico?
The rest of your comments for the record. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Isabella, and I'm allowing my time to Ruby.
Ruby Jimenez, followed by Jonah Wilson Leos and Coy Rocco. 4 minutes.
My name is Ruby. I'm a constituent in District 3. The last time I was here was to demand a public oversight hearing for accountability and transparency of SAPD's collaboration with ICE after the raid of November 16th. Since then, we found out the drug charges that led to the entire raid were dropped, and still out of 143 people detained, most of their details are still unknown. Even to this day, if you look up the operation, you'll still see words like alleged, believed to be, things like that, with no evidence to date of gang affiliation. I'm not understanding why a federal agency that receives $45 billion per year now needs city resources to carry anything out. I'm not understanding why SB 4 is used to support a federal agency that murdered an unarmed woman in broad daylight with no investigation into the matter, especially when we consider that SB 4 is a law that says we can't pass any laws prohibiting immigration enforcement. It doesn't say we have to comply at their every beck and call or throw city taxpayer dollars at every whim or unsubstantiated accusation they make against our neighbors. A resolution can be passed requiring city approval and specific criminal warrants before any city resources can be used, right? That doesn't stop them from tearing down people's property to detain someone like News 4 reported just a couple days ago in Balcones Heights. Or a resolution like the Freedom City Act that Austin passed in 2008. These are great examples of what we can implement in the city. You can pass a mandate for reporting within 72 hours of any joint enforcement. That doesn't stop them from showing up to the courthouse and meeting their quotas of separating families. So there's a lot of things that we can do that actually wouldn't prohibit the very immoral things that they're already doing. But it really is the bare minimum, and that's why I'm here today. I took time out of my workday to ask you for the bare minimum because of the terror that I, my friends and family have been experiencing, as well as fraction of what our undocumented people's lived realities are. There is a profound amount of grief in this city by the way people are being treated, and if you're privileged enough to be removed from it, I need to let you know your constituents are paying attention. Just 2 nights ago, a woman asked where are our elected officials during the protests held outside around these streets. And it's a common question. What I really want is the abolishment of ICE, but a lot of us in this room were around when ICE did not exist, so it's not an unfathomable concept. I understand your constraints at the local level, so I've given you examples of how we can alleviate material conditions for people in this city. So I hope you really don't continue to hear SB 4 brought up as an excuse as to why we can't do anything to rein in the terror that this agency is unleashing in our communities, because what's happening in Minnesota is not that far removed from us. For example, the people being detained over there are being brought to detention centers here in Texas. They're not even given adequate medical care, they're not being fed properly, and last time I checked, 47 is actively saying he doesn't need to follow court orders. So we're playing by very different rules here. And I know that we need to get creative, and I know that to do something and to take action can seem risky, but the bigger risk at this stage is for good people to stand by and do nothing.
Followed by Floyd Roca, and then Isa Lee.
Good evening. My name is John Alberto Wilson-Leos, and my family has lived in this city for 4 generations. I am not just a constituent of District 9, this is my home. After Trump took office, I began organizing with others in my community because I knew that his rhetoric against Central and South Americans was going to leave my neighbors in trouble. And it's been 1 year since Trump was inaugurated. And in that year, we have seen these masked men come into our city and terrorize our neighborhoods. They terrorize our neighborhoods with complicity from you guys. And they, from our elected officials. Our elected officials tell us that ICE is here for public safety. Yet time and time again, we witness them bring chaos into our communities. They bring chaos by refusing to identify themselves. They bring chaos by refusing to identify themselves, and they bring chaos by unlawfully forcing people to identify themselves, and by unlawfully forcing their way into buildings, and by kidnapping people without warrants. San Antonio is known as Military City, the city of law and order, but what ICE is doing is not lawful. What happens to our immigrant brothers and sisters is not lawful, and what happened to Renee Good and Keith Porter was not lawful. When will our leadership come up with solutions? Why is it up to the constituency to do this for you? So your constituents demand that you require SAPD to inform people of their rights. Your constituency demands that the SAPD submit a report anytime they collaborate with ICE, and that includes how many SAPD officers were involved, what other San Antonio departments were involved, and how much money was used. But also, let's be clear, we are not asking you to legislate our oppression. We are demanding that you stop participating in it.
This is the bare minimum that we ask you. The bare minimum.
Followed by Isa Lee and Preston Rico.
What's good, John? How you doing, council members? How you doing, Mayor Ortiz? Do we get another recess yet? Are we okay? My name is Corey Roca. I'm a lot of things. I'm a community organizer, I'm a bartender, I'm a performer, and I was an educator for 3 years for SEUCISD and SAISD. I'm no longer an active educator. Despite that, I still hold a lot of memories of teaching close to me, including the not so great ones. The most pressing issue for me was ensuring the safety of my students, going so far as to plan escape routes for my kids to safely evacuate the classroom and the building in case of an emergency. Because in the current climate that we live in, that children are being raised, it has become normal for them to fear for their lives when entering a building meant to teach them. There are students that don't know when or if they'll be able to come back home, and there's already enough fear in kids that they have about going to school. And now with ICE's straight up invitation to our city, students who are already at risk have another traumatizing presence to face. Because now, there's kids who don't know whether they're making it home from being detained with no warrants for their arrest, or if they get home, if they're going to have their hardworking parents home or not. Especially how violently rampant ICE agents have been acting in neighboring communities towards all people of color, regardless of documentation status. ICE is tearing families apart for the sake of keeping those with proper documentation or not born with melanin in their skin safe. It's no longer a legal issue, it's a human rights issue. We're raising a generation where all they know is how to survive, not live. So how dare you? How dare you claim that your cooperation with ICE is for the sake of protecting your Latino community in San Antonio? How dare you see unmarked ICE vehicles and disguised ICE agents surrounding schools at dismissal time as anything but inhumane? How dare you swear up and down that separating children from their families is a necessary evil? How dare you continue to not only support these acts of terrorism, but actively let them aid in doing so? This city is built and run by Latinos, and how dare you not have a backbone to protect them from such heinous acts? Thank you, ladies.
Isa Lee, followed by Preston Rico, and then Brett Hall.
Hi, I'm Isa Lee, District 2. Good evening, Mayor Jones, council members. Like many here, I see ICE as a terrorist organization that always has been, emboldened by racist rhetoric and a bloated budget. I want to see it abolished, but I am here today, once again, asking you to answer our call to do something concrete, push to the limits of your power and creativity. Make an honest effort to hold our city and SCPD's cooperation with ICE accountable. Meet us halfway and work with our community to establish a city ordinance that requires city approval and a specific criminal warrant before any local resources are used in federal immigration enforcement, full transparency of any joint operation, disclose who was detained and why, and that federal agents provide identification, advance warrant disclosure, and post-operation reports. Many of us here today are prepared to work with you in good faith to establish this city ordinance. Our communities have been doing the work, unpaid and on call at all hours of the day, to make sure our neighbors know their rights and aren't taken advantage of. We should not have to shoulder this burden, and at bare minimum, we have a right to know how our tax dollars are used for joint operations. It's worth reminding that undocumented immigrants contribute to these dollars. Nearly $100 billion in federal, state, and local revenue in 2022, for example, all while being shut out from these programs that their taxes fund. Without a city ordinance meeting community demands, you sign off on the terrorism our communities face every day. Please take courage and do the right thing. Do it for the hundreds of students who've been walking out of school this week to protest ICE terror, afraid to be at school and afraid for their family and friends, looking for something concrete from you. Thank you.
Preston Rico, Brett Hall, followed by Giomara Lazalua and Gary Chip.
For centuries, every time the economy is in crisis, when capitalism is in crisis, we have had our elites, the billionaire class, with the media that they own, spread fear,
and commit violence to immigrants. When the economy is good, we welcome immigrants to exploit their labor. But when it's down, our government and those in power have always murdered and spread fear to immigrants and deported them. Even though this is a settler colonial nation with no foundation to talk about immigrants. Now we're here, ICE, it's a modern-day slave patrol, murdering people and tearing apart families, the same way the Texas Rangers did to immigrants earlier this century, and still wear their costume of ethnic cleansing today at the Alamo, the largest Confederate monument in this country. We are in a battle for the future of this country. Will we choose ourselves, the people, or will we remain in fear and not fight back? Everyone saw an ICE officer shoot a mother, Renee Good, in their own neighborhood in cold blood to start off our year. And the next thing he said was, fucking bitch. Are you kidding me? He hasn't been prosecuted, he hasn't been thrown in jail. This can only lead us to believe that our government expects it to happen again. They expect us to get murdered, and they expect us to put up with it. And it's y'all's responsibility to not lead the way, it's actually to get behind the people and provide a platform for the people. Stand up and fight for what is right. Thank you.
Gary Chip.
If they would allow ICE to go in and take criminals into jails instead of releasing them into communities, then ICE wouldn't have to go in and extract them. Then also you have the ground mobs that are being hired to go in there and create chaos and violence. Many people say that they're not criminals, they're just trying to work to support their families. That's not true. ICE is going after some very serious criminals. Murderers, child molesters, rapists, and human traffickers. And they need to be deported, but every single person that comes across the border illegally is a criminal. And every single person that came across the administration should be deported. Now, just because some aren't creating or aren't doing serious violent crimes, they're doing serious crimes. We're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg of what's going on in Minneapolis. The fraud for billions of dollars is going to end up being trillions of dollars across this country when it's all said and done. There's fraud in the SNAP program, literally stealing food from the mouths of hungry children. There's fraud with the Leering Centers. There's fraud with transportation services, home health care.
Lies upon lies.
Across Texas, over $1 billion in health care last year.
Lies, more lies.
And you say they're just working and they're doing jobs that Americans won't do.
They are.
They are doing jobs that Americans want. Construction jobs, framers, electricians, plumbers, and very good jobs. Those are always good jobs.
Criminals or workers?
So I'm just asking you to please cooperate with ICE and let things run as smooth as possible.
Keep on lying.
Boo!
Go ahead.
Tori Ramirez.
MAG is the biggest recipient, so
Followed by
benefits.
Bentley Bites, and then Molly.
Hundreds, I mean, it's 600 people came out here today to attend this special session. I know it doesn't look like 100 now, but again, hundreds of people came out here on the Tuesday, a work day, sacrificing their time, their PTO, to let this body know that we
Get the fuck off of here. You don't even have a picture, you piece of
also
shit.
had hundreds of people in the streets this past Tuesday on those steps that were there. 1,000 people were on the streets on January 10th, on the streets over there. and hundreds of students are across the city organizing walkouts. The people are mobilized, both young and old, and their message is clear: ICE out of San Antonio. We need more than one transparency and accountability meeting. What we need is a guarantee that this body will stand up to ICE.
Yes, yes, yes.
Showing a slide on what SB4 does not absolve this body from standing up to ICE. SB4 doesn't tell us to go above and beyond in enabling ICE. 50 officers deployed on the 140 people that were
looks like there might be a next time, because it feels like this is all falling on deaf ears, but I guess we'll find out.
SB4 doesn't tell us that the city money going towards
I'll be honest, I gotta get more information on this
food truck owners that were with those 140 people on that November night.
On this, because I went to the meeting last week and then I heard about this one came, and that's really all I did was just show up.
Meanwhile, our schools are pinching pennies.
A few of us that showed up, and then I was expecting for the line to be wrapped around the building.
Unacceptable. SB4 does limit us from creating a sanctuary city. However, it does not prohibit cities from taking action against over-policing constituents. I urge this body, before I end my time, to go ahead and meet with the organizers, with the residents that have been watching ICE. What we want to do is we want to work with you, truly and in good faith. Thank you.
And then down to McDonald.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Johnny Pais, resident of Council District 2. I'm not here to ask for your help. I'm here to tell you what the people demand. Y'all heard it all day. It's been repeated countless times today. But what does that mean when y'all refuse to listen? People are dying. Families are losing everything they have. But y'all have yet to use y'all's platforms to protect your constituency. If you're not here for the people, stop allowing state-sponsored kidnappings, and all ties, all contracts, and all communication with ICE today. If you're here for the people, pass a moratorium to prioritize SAPD's focus on real crime like ICE unconstitutionally terrorizing our communities. If you're here for the people, put your head out your ass and restrict all city resources from assisting in our country's descent towards fascism. Order SAPD to stop doing ICE's dirty work and start protecting this community from masked, unbadged thugs terrorizing our streets. The time for looking into it is over. We want action, or we want you out. We have all seen how inhumane people have been treated by ICE, and some of us have seen it firsthand. Last week, I watched multiple families walk into their usual check-ins just to never walk back out, simply vanishing with no trace. People are angry, and we will do something about it. The people of San Antonio have every reason to fight for their lives, and they will do exactly that if we refuse to comply. This is not a threat, it's a promise. The people will stand up, and the people will fight back. It's absolutely ridiculous that a 21-year-old like me has to stand up here and tell you how to do the job you are elected to do. The refusal of our elected to act on both sides is why I'm the state's only open socialist candidate for the Texas House of Representatives in District 120. If a 21-year-old has more background to stand up for this community than the people sitting in those chairs, then you are in the wrong profession.
There's two maggots next to me arranging their next orgy.
And 50% indigenous with one side of the family. And of course, that's much is important to say. I am an American.
I'm not against orgies, I'm just saying.
I have been hit hard in real.
I'm tired and I'm hungry.
The other night, finishing rideshare work that I do. Two unidentifiable, unmarked SUVs began to follow me down the streets. I stupidly went from one form of police wannabes driven by racial abuse to another form of police oppression, rooted in the same type of system. I guess I was lucky the substation was not Bethlehem Heights, Castle Hills, or SAPD. So the two SUVs backed way the fuck off, away from me.
Way the fuck off.
You have the power, not the mayor, to declare when shit ain't right. Some of the mayors nationally are opposing ICE and demanded ICE stay out of their respective cities.
He keeps getting in trouble for not paying attention. He's still not fucking paying attention.
And NYC, his name is Madonna. They may have to tell ICE to get the fuck out of the city. You have been seeing social media, I'm sure you've seen social media. If you choose to continue to let
I think he has a case of
there is a hell of a lot
some
of
sort
people
of derangement.
cause significant
He keeps yelling, "Stop it!"
because
He says, "Be quiet! Shut up!"
Trust. Also, please don't forget the
Am I being the agitator?
the military veterans on the streets have been kidnapped by ICE in other cities like Washington, D.C. and others. This is poverty and racial cleansing.
Never.
Veronica Davis, followed by Philip Manna and Kathy Manna.
Hi guys. I know you're all tired. It's been a long day, and I promise we're tired too. I am a resident of District 2. My name is Veronica. I'm a senior lecturer in universities. I'm also licensed by the state to assess safety, risk, and health. I teach people often how impact is, in fact, more important than intention. You must know current intentions do not erase the harmful impact that you all have been hearing in our voices today and every day. Because it won't be and has not been you with boots on the ground taking care of those impacted by your non-neutral intentions. I speak for my community, I speak for my ancestors, I speak for my family, my friends, and myself. I also speak for my clients residing here in San Antonio, across the state of Texas, and my students.
I'm gonna have to, when I have more people in here, I'm gonna have to promote this battery that I have.
Into becoming voters.
I'm
With that
impressed.
being said,
And it's old.
the health of this community rests in your hands. And as a community member, you need to know we are already sick. Sick with worry for our family and friends. Sick with fear that we may not come home. Sick with exhaustion from hypervigilance. Because we are constantly and consistently looking over our shoulders to hold on to any sense of security it feels is fading, is draining. You, our public servants. Alright, I'm just going to skip ahead and say that we must not allow party, power, or privilege to override morals, as it has already affected morale. San Antonio, Texas is a powerhouse of culture that is being removed from us with each human taken. History has its eyes on you. Reflect on how you want to be remembered. Thank you.
Philip Manna, Kathy Manna,
She did, so.
Okay, so you've got it. Okay, so
Let's take her 2 minutes while
she has to be here to give 2, sir. Okay, so 2 minutes for you, and then Debbie Zingsbrug, and then
She left as well, so she broke away. So, we certainly spend a lot of energy trying to conserve, preserve, and save our democracy. And here we are again. I was asked by a prior speaker to ask you all to codify, cite, and release, and make this policy of the current DA into law. It has kept 13,000 people out of jail since 2019 and is crucial to reducing ICE contact. As I understand it, you get a ticket, that is your arrest notice, and then you report in person at a later date. And so this kind of solves some of the challenges I think that some of us are seeing. Austin successfully implemented this policy, seems to be working well. Changing topics. So we've been hosting a voter registration table at Northwest Vista College for the last 2 years. And while on campus, our table established a community of students who regularly gather to share their concerns. 2 years ago, the largest concern was affordability. This semester, ICE is on every student's mind. And we just left the campus, that's where I went after I talked about earlier today. And the last student that we registered talked about her daily concerns of stepping out of the house to get to school, even as a U.S. citizen. I mean, it is on everyone's student's mind. You can see they're in terror. So the students are scared, I'm scared for them. And I'm at Solar.
I'll be right back. I have to check my glucose.
And so today,
Okay.
Frankie, Alana? Frankie? Okay. Followed by Gabrielle, Samuel, and Margaret Wood.
Hello, good evening. First, I'm with the ranking in Central Texas in District 6. What I have to say today is more of a reminder. Local law enforcement's job is to protect public safety. It is not to disrupt communities, enforce fear, or participate in violence and continued injustices. Yet, that is exactly what is being normalized across the city and in this country through unnecessary collaboration with ICE. There is no human decency in ICE's approaches. What we are witnessing is a human rights crisis. Civil rights are being violated, and the city should not allow public services or public resources to assist in those violations. From an indigenous people's perspective, this issue runs even deeper. Native peoples, descendants of North and South America, have an inherent right to move freely across these lands and territories long before borders ever existed. Borders did not create our nations, and they do not erase our relationships to land, movement, or to one another. Today we are watching our families, friends, co-workers, and neighbors being ripped out of our communities. We stand with our relatives, and we will not stand for San Antonio participating in unnecessary collaboration with the violence of ICE. Let's be clear, the law. Current laws do not require compliance with ICE warrants. An ICE warrant is not signed by the judge. It is not a criminal warrant. It is an internal ICE document. Police do not have legal authority to arrest or hold someone based on an ICE warrant alone. Confusing these leads to unlawful detention, constitutional violations, legal liability for the city, and a breakdown of community trust. Fear is not public safety. Please do not help normalize the violence and abuse by ICE. Public safety must be rooted in human dignity, constitutional rights, and trust. Thank you.
Hello, Council, Mayor. My name is Gabriel Sandier. I'm a proud member of the Catalyst Conference, who has been fighting for the last 50 years for the residents of San Antonio. They have stood up against civil rights violations, they have stood up against police brutality, they have stood up against every type of injustice, and stood for the marginalized people of the city. We are going to continue to stand for them. For those of you that are on City Council, I challenge you to take a look at the history of what this city was like 50 years ago, because none of you would be on City Council at that time. if it wasn't for the work of my people, the people before you, your family members whose shoulders you now stand on. So what I'm asking is when they get here and they start to target our marginalized people, what side are you going to be on? Are you going to honor the ancestors? Are you going to honor the people that before you, that paved the way so that you would sit here today and stand with my organization as we stand against them? Or will we remain silent? Thank you.
All right, Jennifer, Mary, and Audrey Mulholland, please line up.
I'm going to briefly cover a couple of questions I have. I know they're not going to be answered. Can off-duty SAPD work for ICE? And is the detention center currently active in District 10 prepared for the power outages and freezing weather we're going to be having this weekend? I do want to briefly address the ICE supporters in the room, whoever is left. I happen to be friends with Michael Pena, younger brother of Chrissy Sue Pena, and maybe you might be familiar with her father regularly speaks at anti-immigration rallies hosted by Trump. So I am familiar with the concept of crime tourism. I do think that if you are someone who is sympathetic with that, you do need to understand that the primary victims of those crimes are the very same vulnerable communities that are being targeted by ICE. So they are, survivors. They're not going to feel safe coming to you or to any ICE collaborator. Finally, as much as I am disappointed with the council's stance on things, I am elated with the outturn of vote for particularly District 6, where I'm coming from. I do, we're all going to be tired when we go home tonight, but I want to make sure that we all speak to our neighbors, make sure that they're good for this weekend, and that will definitely, it's a golden opportunity to establish a rapport for what most of us are here for today. Thank you.
Jennifer Mary, Audrey Mulholland, Don Mathis, Lauren Davis, Brian DeLeon, Laura Farias, Laura Jose Perez, and Jessica Foley, please sign up.
Good evening. What a day. So thank you for your attention. I am a constituent from District 5. And I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you looking at me. I appreciate your awake. So much has already been said that I had in my notes. Not going to go through all of the minutiae, not going to go through all of the incidents, not going to go through all of the things that has already been said. But there are things that need to be said in terms of what are we going to do, since we know the laws are there and you're going to follow the law. So why don't we make ordinances? Why don't we make it illegal for ICE to park illegally? Why can't we tow vehicles when they aren't in the correct area? Look at Chicago. They took all of their ICE machines and blocked ICE vehicles. Let's look at the different locations that are able to set up ordinances that make things illegal. So that was part of my message today, to see how we can think out of the box. And one thing that's stayed with me my entire life is, at one point, my family was faced with various situations, and the thing that gave us some courage is, oh, my notes are written down, sorry. You need to look at the opportunities as 1 cubic centimeter, 1 square cubic centimeter of opportunity in your life that might lead you in a whole different direction. So this is your cubic centimeter. It's like, let's look at this one little opportunity to make a difference in our community, to stay loyal to the citizens, not worry about what the laws, don't worry about what all these other situations in the world are doing to impact us, because it's our lives. You were elected. You are our choice, so please support us in our lives so that we can live properly in the city of San Antonio. So thank you so much.
Next, Jessica Colby, Diana Elizalde, followed by Eliasa Cisneros, and then Jack Pinker.
How disappointing is it that ICE is destroying the public trust in our law enforcement? I am the proud daughter and wife of men who dedicated 30 years each as officers of the San Antonio Police Department. I am also a very proud daughter of an immigrant mother. I was raised to respect and obey the law, and I feel this community respects our police, but what is happening today is damaging that respect for generations to come. A recently retired legislator for Texas law enforcement wrote, "Local law enforcement leaders need to move quickly to draw a clear distinction between the scenario-based de-escalation training, street and community experience, transparency, and accountability of our local officers. The actions of the newly recruited masked federal ICE agents jumping from unmarked minivans and crossover SUVs will no doubt damage and destroy the reputations of our proud and professional officers. Our law enforcement officers who've been vetted, psychologically screened, highly trained, will face new dangers as the public struggles with trust and accountability in America. Officers have authority granted to them by the government. In Texas, officers have given their lives to the cause of protecting and serving. We need to contrast our requirements of the highest standards, dedication, and sacrifice versus standing up a quickly trained and cheaply mustered surge organization that may permanently damage the trust and pride that most folks feel towards those who have chosen to wear the uniform. And I feel that this lawless administration and ICE are a stain on all law enforcement. Who will hold ICE accountable when they abuse their authority, or will you force the people of San Antonio to take matters into their own hands and stand their ground to protect themselves? Thank you.
Oh God, here we go.
And I'm not going to listen to that knucklehead. This will be fun. Knucklehead. Madam Mayor, other members of our illustrious San Antonio City Council, my name is Jack M. Finger, your undocumented gadfly. Yes, it seems that we've had a number of people come by today saying we don't want any ice water in town. True. I say fine. Let's have a party. I'll bring the ice. So there, need not worry about a thing. Yeah. It seems that the big bad Donald Trump is threatening to withdraw millions upon millions of tax dollars from our city if we do not let him arrest illegal aliens. Undocumented Democrats. Don't you let him do that, Madam Mayor. My golly, if you can simply tell them we don't need any of your stinking millions upon millions of dollars. Don't. No, I tell you what, if push comes to shove, you simply say, don't worry, if I have to lay off hundreds or thousands of our city employees because of this, I'll do it. And I'm sure that your trusty San Antonio City Council people will step up to the challenge. You will. I'm sure you will dig right in and do the jobs that no other American will do. I can see Jalen Rodriguez driving one of those city garbage trucks. Yes, sir. And Eric standing on the back of it, whistling, saying, "Turn left, Jalen, not the right." Yes, that's fine. Yes. And if push really comes to shove, I can see the second battle of the hour.
What the fuck is wrong with this dude?
you'll be flanked by Jerry Castillo and the ferocious Rick Galvin.
Thank you. Russell Steele, followed by Rebecca Flores.
This fucking idiot.
Followed by Rebecca Flores and Jerry.
Not the highlight I was expecting. Shut the fuck up, bro.
About family, heroes, fear, and generational family trauma. First, my mother-in-law, I'm Russell Seal, product of the South Side.
1 second, I gotta see where my ride's at.
My mother-in-law and her family.
Oh no, it's been a day. It's been a day.
After the
I'm gonna post all the craziness that happened earlier. We had to go to recess 3 times because we weren't having it. Hold on, I'll be right back.
The military.
Okay.
My mother-in-law just recently passed away. A year or so before she passed away, she was during the first Trump administration, she becomes scared to death of being deported out of the assisted living facility. She had my wife go get her naturalization papers so that she could have them on the camera. This generational trauma that they're enduring after being heroes in this nation is just simple. On my father's side, they came over after World War II from Pearl Harbor. My grandmother was a native Hawaiian who ended up in Mississippi fighting the Ku Klux Klan division. She gets to San Antonio, safe haven, but ends up with trauma that lasts a lifetime, the last 20 years of her life, in fear. And we need to figure out how we're going to deal with this long-term trauma that these people are enduring.
Darian Blinsky, Karina Mata, Dina Casanova, Melody Holmes, Brian Thompson, Zarina Watson-Carrington, Janice Zeidelman, Kurt Wilkinson, followed by Toby Pablo and Sheila Vasquez.
Not as crazy as earlier.
Good evening, City Council. I'm Kurt Wilkinson, professional actor and advocate from District 6. Let me be very clear about what SB 8 is, a Texas law effective at the start of this year. The law makes it clear in section 753.053 that it is about, quote, an allocation of resources, including personnel and funding, end quote. That would mean that the Bexar County Sheriff gets a grant of
I'll post them. Said there's a whole lot of editing I have to do. I wish I would have had a second camera.
Which is likely our tax money, and then gives that money to ICE. These grants pay for their paychecks, filing immigration reports, their weapons, their training, the jails they send people to, and whatever other costs the government can say is to help ICE and local law enforcement work together. And they've got fear tactics, of course, that you all are so afraid of with SB 4. This law makes me wonder why our governor and our attorney general are so insistent on Texas being in lockstep with our unpopular federal administration. Whatever happened to the Lone Star State? Now, I'm not a secessionist, but when I talk to people on the street and I hear the heartbeat of Texas, what is always true is that Texans fear the federal government overreaching, getting on their doorstep, and denying their rights. When we all saw the murder of Renee Nicole Good, it was a nightmare. Taught to us by our American history and social studies classes to fear. I am here expressing my First Amendment right of free speech, but Donald Trump and the federal administration want to say that any speech against ICE is domestic terrorism. That's a violation of the First Amendment. And they violate every other bill of rights, which I have written here, but I'm going to skip to the end here. I agree with you, City Council, to enact your rights under the 9th Amendment and say no, the state of Texas, Bexar County, and the city of San Antonio will not comply with the federal government that threatens the rights and lives of the people. If not, the people will exercise their rights under the 10th Amendment, but the real power is with the people. If you want the votes of the people, and you have to say out loud, abolish ICE, because we all know that we don't need this un-American institution that is younger than me. Thank you.
He did say he was an actor.
Followed by Sheila Vasquez.
He's a performer, for sure.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'd like to open with a question that calls to us now more than ever. What is truth? Is it something distilled from knowledge alone, observed and adjudicated from afar?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it to be crafted in the hands of the powerful, revealed to the rest of us at an unspecified time? I find my answer through the people of the city, the words, the voices, the opinions that we've heard today. Truth is not a mandate of doubt. It's not some untouchable idea for few to understand. Truth is connection. It is relationship. It's not just the words we say to each other, but the intention behind those words and who they reach. It's not just that federal agents treat people like Renee Good in broad daylight, but that Americans now fear
You paid attention better than I did.
The presiding administration would rather wave the killing away with claims that are speculative at best than assuage the public that justice will be served. It's not just that many in our local and national community have grappled with this reality since ICE's inception, but that ICE has obfuscated their use of our resources, increasingly obstructing inspections of detention facilities and operating without visible identification.
Okay guys, I am hungry, I am tired, I'm going to leave. I was hoping to stay and
that deny people their unalienable rights.
it's probably meant for me not to stay, but I gotta go and I will be posting and giving updates soon. Thank y'all so much.
ICE in our streets is a betrayal